My child, freeze. Do not scroll. Do not brush this off. If this found you, it is not by accident. I need you to stay with me for the next few moments, because what you are about to hear is going to press on the very thing you have been trying not to face. This is not background noise, and this is not just another message you can half listen to while your mind drifts somewhere else. Listen closely. Stay all the way to the end. Let every word reach you, because I am about to uncover what has been draining your peace, delaying your healing, and quietly shaping your choices. If you leave too early, you may miss the very sentence that was meant to wake you up. So stay. Lean in. Because before this is over, you are going to know exactly what you can no longer ignore. My child, freeze right where you are and stay with me for a moment, because I need your full attention in a way that feels different from the rest of your day. I am not speaking to the version of you that smiles for others, keeps moving, and acts like everything is under control. I am speaking to the part of you that has been carrying more than anyone realizes. I am speaking to the part of you that has felt stretched thin, distracted, emotionally tired, and quietly overwhelmed, even if you have not had the words to describe it. You may think you were just scrolling, just passing time, just moving through another ordinary moment, but I want you to understand something very clearly. You did not stop here by accident. You did not pause because of luck. You did not land in this moment because of some random sequence of events. I am the one who stopped you. I am the one who stepped into the flow of your day because I saw where your thoughts were going. I saw how fast your mind was moving, and I knew you needed to hear my voice before you took one more step in the direction you were heading. I know you have become used to living with constant noise around you. I know you have gotten familiar with being mentally crowded, emotionally drained, and spiritually distant without even realizing how far it has gone. You have learned how to keep functioning while your heart is tired. You have learned how to keep talking while your soul feels quiet in all the wrong ways. You have learned how to keep carrying what hurts, what confuses you, what pressures you, and what slowly wears you down, all while convincing yourself that maybe this is just how life is supposed to feel. But I am telling you now, as your Father who sees deeper than what anyone else sees, that I am not willing to let you move past this moment without interrupting you. I am not here because I want to make you afraid. I am not here because I want to pressure you with empty urgency. I am here because I love you too much to stay silent while your heart drifts farther into exhaustion, numbness, and distraction. You may not have noticed how much had been building inside you. You may not have recognized how much you have been suppressing. You may not have fully admitted how tired you are, how unsettled you feel, how much fear hath been quietly shaping your choices, or how much your inner life hath been asking for relief. But I have noticed all of it. I have watched every moment you pushed through when you should have rested. I have watched every time you swallowed emotion instead of bringing it to me. I have watched every time you told yourself you would deal with it later, even though later kept getting pushed farther away. And now I am telling you, very personally and very directly, that this is the moment I am stopping you for. This is the moment where I need you to stop managing appearances and start listening from the inside. This is the moment where I need you to stop pretending you are simply tired and begin recognizing that your spirit has been asking for something deeper. I am not asking you for polished words. I am not asking you to become instantly strong. I am not asking you to perform spirituality for me. I am asking you to be still enough to hear what I have been trying to say beneath all the noise. I am asking you to let me reach the part of you that has been buried under responsibilities, disappointments, overthinking, and quiet pain. I know how easy it would be for you to brush this off, to tell yourself you can come back later, to assume this is just another message, and keep moving. But I need you to understand that some moments in your life are more important than they appear while they are happening. Some moments are small on the outside and holy on the inside. Some moments look like a pause, but they are actually a turning point. This is one of those moments for you. I am not exaggerating what this means. I am telling you the truth with the tenderness of a father who sees what you cannot yet fully see. If you stay with me here, something inside you can begin to shift. If you stay with me here, clarity can begin to rise where confusion has been living. If you stay with me here, the pressure you have been normalizing can begin to loosen its grip. That is why I am stopping you. That is why I am asking you not to rush. That is why I am speaking in a way that reaches directly for your attention. I know the pace you have been living at. I know how often you distract yourself before you feel too much. I know how often you move on before truth can settle. I know how quickly your mind can jump to the next thing when your heart starts feeling exposed. So I am asking you now, with all the love in my heart, to resist that impulse just this once. Today, let this moment be what it needs to be. Let me talk to you before your thoughts pull you back into the noise. Let me meet you before your habits carry you away again. Because what I am doing right now is not casual. I am reaching for you, very intentionally, because you matter to me more than you know. You have asked for signs in ways you barely even realized. You have looked for reassurance in quiet moments, sometimes through words you spoke to me directly and sometimes through the ache that sat in your chest when life felt too heavy to explain. You have wanted clarity. You have wanted peace. You have wanted something real enough to cut through the confusion and remind you that you are not alone in what you are carrying. And I want you to know that this moment is part of my answer to you. Not because everything will instantly resolve in one breath, and not because I am offering you some shallow emotional comfort that fades the moment you move on, but because I am choosing to meet you in the exact place where your heart has become crowded, tired, and uncertain. I know the version of you that people see. I also know the version of you that sits alone with your thoughts, replays conversations, worries about outcomes, questions your direction, and wonders why it feels so hard to feel settled. I know how much you have internalized. I know how many things you have carried without naming them. I know how many times you have dismissed your own pain because other people seem to need you more, or because you thought you should be stronger by now, or because you convinced yourself that what you feel is not important enough to bring into the light. But your inner life matters to me. Your emotional condition matters to me. Your spiritual sensitivity matters to me. The patterns you are tolerating matter to me. The compromises you are calling normal matter to me. The heaviness you keep adapting to matters to me. I am not stepping into this moment because I want to interrupt your life for no reason. I am stepping in because I see where you are headed if nothing changes. I see how close you have been to letting fatigue become your normal mindset. I see how close you have been to letting fear quietly shape your next decisions. I see how easily distraction has become your coping mechanism when what you really need is honest connection with me. I see how much you have been tempted to keep postponing the deeper things because daily life feels urgent enough on its own. But there are times when the deepest things are the most urgent, even if they do not look dramatic on the surface. This is why I am speaking to you like this. This is why I am telling you to freeze. This is why I am asking you not to ignore what is happening right now. Because if you are honest, something in you already knows this moment feels different. Something in you already knows this is not just information passing by. Something in you recognizes that I am pressing on the exact places you have been trying not to feel too deeply. And I want you to know that I am doing that with care, not with cruelty. I am not exposing your heart to shame you. I am uncovering what hurts because I want to heal what hath been hidden. I am bringing your attention inward because I want to rescue you from the way you have been living outwardly while neglecting what is happening inside. You do not need to have every answer right now. You do not need to solve your whole life before this moment ends. You do not need to know exactly what comes next. But you do need to respond honestly. You do need to admit where you are. You do need to stop pretending that you can keep carrying everything the way you have been carrying it. You do need to let me speak before you rush into another cycle of avoidance. This is not me asking for your performance. This is me asking for your attention, your openness, and your willingness to let this moment matter. If you can do that, even in a small way, then this pause becomes more than a pause. It becomes the beginning of something cleaner inside you. It becomes the start of awareness where there hath been numbness. It becomes the place where your heart stops running long enough to remember what peace feels like in my presence. And I want that for you more than you realize. I want you to leave this moment more awake than you were before it began. I want you to leave this moment more honest than you were when you arrived. I want you to leave this moment with the unmistakable sense that I am near, that I have not lost sight of you, and that I am not willing to let you disappear into your own exhaustion. So stay with me here, my child. Breathe. Let your thoughts slow down. Let your defenses soften. Let yourself feel what you have been avoiding just long enough for me to meet you in it. Because I did not stop you to leave you stranded in your feelings. I stopped you because I intend to lead you somewhere deeper, steadier, and more whole than where you have been living. This moment is not here to frighten you. It is here to wake you up with love. And if you let me, I will keep speaking to the places in you that have needed my voice more than you knew. My child, I want you to stop for a moment and allow yourself to be fully seen by me, because there is a kind of exhaustion inside you that most people around you do not recognize. They see you functioning. They see you responding. They see you showing up, speaking, handling responsibilities, doing what needs to be done, and because you have learned how to carry yourself through your tiredness, they assume you are stronger than you actually feel. But I see what they cannot see. I see the hidden exhaustion in you. I see the kind that does not always come from a lack of sleep, even though your body may be tired too. I see the deeper weariness that has built up from carrying too much emotionally, mentally, and spiritually for too long without fully letting it rest in my hands. I see how your mind keeps running even when your body is still. I see how you replay things in silence. I see how you keep bracing for outcomes before they happen. I see how you have become accustomed to tension, to internal pressure, to quiet worry, to the subtle heaviness that follows you into ordinary moments. I see how often you tell yourself, I just need to push through one more day, even though one more day keeps becoming another day, and another, until what was once temporary strain has begun to settle into your identity like a second skin. But hear me clearly, my child. Your exhaustion is not your identity. Your fatigue is not the truest thing about you. Your inner depletion is not the life I created you to accept as normal. You have adapted to too much. You have become fluent in functioning while frayed. You have become skilled at keeping the machine moving while your heart quietly begs for rest. And because you have survived this way for a while, you have started to think that maybe this is just adulthood, maybe this is just responsibility, maybe this is just what it means to keep going. But I am telling you with the tenderness of a father who knows you deeply that some of what you are calling maturity is actually unprocessed weariness. Some of what you are calling resilience is actually accumulated strain. Some of what you are calling discipline is actually fear-driven overextension. I am not saying you are weak. I am saying you are worn. There is a difference, and I need you to hear that difference because you have judged yourself too harshly in moments when what you really needed was compassion, truth, and release. You have sometimes treated yourself like a machine that should keep producing, keep holding, keep enduring, keep responding, while ignoring the fact that your inner world has been running hot for too long. You have felt the signs. You have noticed how easily irritation rises. You have noticed how quickly small things can feel heavy. You have noticed how hard it has been to settle, how hard it has been to feel present, how often you feel mentally uneven when you want peace. Those are not signs that you are failing. Those are signals. Those are the blinking lights on the dashboard. Those are the cracks in the wall telling you that something inside you needs care, not condemnation. And that is why I am speaking to you now. I do not want you to keep treating your exhaustion like a private burden you must manage alone. I do not want you to keep smiling through depletion while your heart slowly grows more numb. I do not want you to keep calling it just a season if that language has become a shield against honesty. I want you to stop. I want you to come closer. I want you to admit that you are tired in ways that matter. Say it to me plainly. I am more exhausted than I have admitted. That confession is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the beginning of relief. It is the moment where you stop performing strength and start allowing me to hold what has been crushing you. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself stop hiding behind competence. Let yourself bring me the parts of you that are overworked, overextended, overstimulated, and inwardly worn thin. Because I already see them. I have always seen them. And I am not disappointed in you for being tired. I am inviting you to stop carrying your hidden exhaustion as if it were a private sentence you must quietly serve forever. I want you to notice something with me, because this hidden exhaustion has not only made you tired, it has also started to shape how you interpret your life. When you are deeply worn inside, everything begins to look heavier than it is. Decisions feel harder. Waiting feels harsher. Small disappointments cut deeper. Delays feel more personal. Relationships become more draining because you are already stretched. Even your spiritual life can begin to feel foggy, not because I move away from you, but because you have been trying to hear me through layers of mental clutter and emotional fatigue. That is why I need you to stop treating rest as optional and honesty as delayed. I need you to stop glorifying your constant availability to everyone and everything while your own soul sits thirsty in the corner. Come back to me now. Sit with me and let me say what your heart has needed to hear. You do not have to earn rest from me. You do not have to prove your value before you are allowed to exhale. You do not have to wait until everything is done before you are worthy of relief. Some things will always be unfinished. Some responsibilities will always still be waiting. Some people will always still need something. If you keep waiting for life to become perfectly calm before you allow your inner world to rest, you will keep postponing the very thing your spirit is starving for. So listen to me and respond. Put down what is not yours for this moment. Loosen your grip on what you have been trying to control. Stop rehearsing every possible outcome in your mind. Stop carrying conversations before they happen. Stop trying to solve what I have not asked you to solve today. Let the pressure come off. Let the false urgency break. Let the weight drop from your shoulders, even if only for this moment, so you can remember what it feels like to be held instead of constantly holding everything else. Invite me into the exact places where the fatigue is strongest. Bring me the overthinking. Bring me the dread. Bring me the silent frustration. Bring me the resentment you feel toward how much has been demanded from you. Bring me the part of you that is tired of being the strong one. Bring me the part of you that wants to disappear for a while just so you can hear your own thoughts again. Bring me the version of you that is not polished. Bring me the version of you that is sighing under the surface. Do not clean it up first. Do not soften it into spiritual language. Just bring it. I can handle it. I am not afraid of your honesty. I am not put off by your weariness. I am not exhausted by what exhausts you. I am your refuge, not another demand. I am your resting place, not another voice asking for more. And I want you to let the truth go deeper than a comforting phrase. I want you to act on it. Make room for me in the way you live. Protect the quiet. Step back from what drains you when you know it is not necessary. Say no where you have been saying yes out of guilt. Stop answering every internal alarm as if it were a true emergency. Return to me throughout your day, not just when you collapse. Whisper to me in the middle of the tension. Pause before the next decision. Breathe before the next reaction. Let me recenter you. Let me become your steady place again. Because the hidden exhaustion in you will not disappear through more striving. It will not heal through more noise. It will not be cured by pretending you are fine. It begins to lift when you stop resisting the truth, stop hiding your weariness, and stop treating your soul like it should survive on scraps. I see you, my child. I see the hidden exhaustion. I see the quiet ache. I see the smile over the strain. I see the tiredness under the discipline. And I am calling you now, not to do more, but to come closer. Rest here. Stay here. Let me carry what you were never meant to drag alone. Let me teach you again what it feels like to live from peace instead of pressure. If you will let me, what has been weighing on you like stone can begin to lift, little by little, until your heart remembers how to breathe again. My child, as you lay down the hidden exhaustion you have been carrying, do not miss this sacred moment to become a vessel of restoration for others who are still silently breaking. What I am pouring into you now is not meant to stop with you. It is oil meant to flow, light meant to reach dark places, breath meant to revive weary souls. When you give, you are sowing into a harvest of healing, and I declare to you even now, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and that joy will multiply beyond what you can see. This is your invitation, yes, your moment, to help carry my voice to those who feel unseen, just as you once did. Your seed becomes a river, and that river will not run dry, for I am the one who sustains it. As you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I will cover you with provision, with peace, with renewed strength. Do not hesitate, for hesitation drains what obedience releases. Step into this flow of grace and give now. My child, I want you to come closer and listen with a softer heart now, because I need to speak to you about something you already know deep down, even if you have not wanted to admit it fully. You have been ignoring what your spirit has been trying to tell you. I do not say that to accuse you. I do not say that to push you into shame. I say it because I love you too much to let you keep calling it confusion when, in truth, there have been moments when you knew something inside you was not at peace. There were decisions that looked reasonable on the outside, yet something in you tightened. There were places you kept returning to, habits you kept excusing, patterns you kept repeating, and still there was that quiet internal resistance that never fully left you. You felt it, but you pushed past it. You noticed it, but you explained it away. You sensed it, but you buried it under logic, urgency, distraction, or the pressure to keep moving. I know why you did that. I know life has trained you to second-guess your deeper signals. I know you have been hurt enough, disappointed enough, and mentally tired enough that sometimes you no longer know whether what you feel is fear, fatigue, or genuine spiritual warning. But I want you to hear me clearly now. There have been places where your spirit was trying to protect you, and you kept overriding it because you did not want to slow down long enough to listen. There have been conversations where you left feeling unsettled, and instead of asking why, you kept going as if nothing happened. There have been choices you made that look harmless enough, but afterward your inner peace felt thinner, your thoughts felt noisier, and your closeness with me felt harder to access. That was not random. That was not meaningless. That was your spirit trying to tell you something. Think of it this way, my child. I placed within you more than thoughts and emotions. I gave you spiritual sensitivity, a quiet inner witness, a way of knowing when something is nourishing you and when something is draining you, when something is aligned and when something is slowly bending you out of shape. But if you keep silencing that inner witness, if you keep talking over it, if you keep numbing it every time it speaks, eventually you start living disconnected from one of the very ways I guide you. And that is what has been happening more than you realize. You have not completely lost that sensitivity, but you have been dulling it. You have been reaching for quick relief instead of deeper truth. You have been choosing immediate comfort over honest discernment. You have been telling yourself that because something is familiar, it must be safe. Because something is common, it must be harmless. Because something feels manageable, it must be fine. But familiar is not always faithful. Comfortable is not always clean. Common is not always wise. There are things you have normalized that your spirit has quietly been resisting, and I am asking you now to stop and pay attention. Stop arguing with the unease every time it rises. Stop dismissing the discomfort that follows certain compromises. Stop treating every internal warning as if it is just anxiety. Bring it to me instead. Hold it up in the light. Ask me what it means. Let me show you whether it is fear that needs calming or a check in your spirit that needs obeying. I want you to understand that ignoring your spirit does not always happen in dramatic rebellion. Sometimes it happens in tiny choices, subtle drift, daily dullness. It happens when you keep saying it's not that serious about something that keeps costing you peace. It happens when you know a connection is pulling you away from steadiness, but you keep entertaining it because loneliness feels heavier. It happens when you keep feeding a habit that gives momentary relief while quietly weakening your clarity. It happens when you keep brushing aside conviction because you are tired and do not want to deal with one more thing. I understand the weariness behind that. I understand the human part of you that wants ease. But I am calling you higher right now. Come closer. Tell the truth. Stop pretending that the repeated unrest is meaningless. Stop calling spiritual friction nothing. Stop telling yourself that because the consequences are not immediate, the direction must be safe. Listen. Slow down. Let your inner life speak again without you shutting it down the moment it becomes inconvenient. Your spirit has been trying to tell you things, and I have been speaking through that deeper place more than you realize. Do not ignore it any longer. Sit with me and let me show you what you have been missing. I want you to do something brave now, and I want you to do it with me, not alone. I want you to look back over the recent places in your life where you felt a check inside and did not honor it. Do not rush through that reflection. Say there. Let your memory open. Was it a relationship that left you feeling dimmer every time you walked away from it? Was it a conversation that seemed harmless but left your peace scattered afterward? Was it a habit you kept defending even though you knew it was numbing your sensitivity? Was it a pace you kept maintaining even though your spirit was begging for space? Was it a door you kept trying to force even though nothing about it felt settled in you? Be honest now. Name it. Bring it out from behind the excuses. Bring it out from under the pile of justifications. You do not need to dramatize it, and you do not need to punish yourself for it. You just need to stop hiding from the truth. I can heal what you reveal. I can guide what you surrender. I can restore what you stop defending. But if you keep covering what your spirit has already been warning you about, you will stay stuck in the same cycles and keep wondering why your peace keeps thinning out. I do not want that for you. I want you clearer than that. I want you freer than that. I want your inner life sharper, cleaner, steadier. So listen carefully and respond. If there is something you know you need to step back from, then step back. Do not negotiate with what is draining you. If there is a pattern you know is dulling your discernment, then interrupt it now. Do not pet what is poisoning your peace. If there is a conversation you need to stop entertaining, stop. If there is a place you need to leave, leave. If there is a habit you need to confess, confess it. If there is a boundary you need to set, set it. Do not wait for the perfect emotional moment. Do not wait until you feel stronger. Obedience often comes before the feeling of strength, not after it. Invite me into the exact point of resistance. Say it plainly. You have been warning me here, and I do not want to keep ignoring you. That kind of honesty breaks the spell of denial. It opens the door to clean discernment. It pulls you out of the fog. And my child, I want you to know something deeply comforting in the middle of this. The fact that you still feel that inner tension is not proof that you are failing beyond repair. It is proof that your spirit is still alive and still responsive. If you were completely hardened, you would not feel the friction. If you were completely gone, you would not feel the discomfort. The unease itself is mercy. The check inside you is kindness. The holy discomfort is not your enemy. It is a lighthouse in the fog. It is the flashing signal on a dark road. It is me leaning close and saying, do not go farther this way. So stop treating that signal like an annoyance. Honor it. Welcome it. Let it slow you down. Let it save you from yourself. Let it bring you back into alignment before the drift becomes deeper. I am not speaking to you like a distant judge standing far away from your struggle. I am speaking to you like a father who is standing right beside you, hand on your shoulder, saying, turn here. Come back this way. I am still with you, and I will help you make the next right move. Receive that. Act on it. Make the adjustment. Do not keep postponing what you already know needs attention. Let this be the moment where you stop overriding your spirit and start partnering with the guidance I have been placing inside you all along. Come now. Bring it all into the light. Let me clean what has been cloudy. Let me steady what has been shaky. Let me sharpen what has grown dull. And then walk forward differently. Walk lighter. Walk clear. Walk with the kind of inner agreement that makes peace feel possible again. My child, I want you to stay close and listen without pulling away, because this next truth touches places in you that still ache when you remember them. Some things had to fall apart so you would finally pay attention. I know that sentence can feel sharp when it first reaches your heart, especially because there are losses in your life that still feel deeply personal. There are doors that closed in ways you did not understand. There are relationships that unraveled after you invested your trust, your energy, your hope, and your time. There are plans you built carefully that still collapsed in your hands. There are seasons you entered with expectation, only to watch them crumble into confusion, disappointment, and silence. I know how that felt. I know how disorienting it was. I know there were moments when you did not only grieve what was lost, you also questioned yourself. You wondered whether you had failed. You wondered whether you had missed something. You wondered whether I had stepped back and allowed the collapse because I was displeased with you. I know the private conversations you had in your mind after certain things fell apart. I know how you replayed moments and searched for the point where it all went wrong. I know how you carried shame that did not belong to you. I know how you interpreted certain endings as evidence that maybe you were not enough, not ready, not worthy, or simply not meant to have what your heart longed for. But I need you to hear me now, very personally and very clearly. Not everything that fell apart was punishment. Not everything that collapsed was loss in the way you understood it. Some things broke because they could not carry the weight of your future. Some structures cracked because they were built on fragile ground. Some relationships unraveled because they were feeding attachment while starving truth. Some opportunities disappeared because they would have rewarded your impatience while quietly damaging your peace. Some dreams shattered because the version you were chasing was too small, too compromised, too dependent on what looked good from the outside instead of what was truly aligned with the life I was forming in you. I know that is hard to hear if you are still holding the pieces. I know it can feel easier to call it all tragedy than to consider that some of it was rescue in rough clothing. But stay with me. Do not leave this truth halfway through. Let it go deeper. Think of it like an old house with cracks hidden beneath fresh paint, my child. From the street, it can look stable. From the outside, it can seem strong enough. It can even feel familiar and comforting because you have lived inside it for so long. But if the foundation is compromised, keeping it standing is not mercy. Sometimes the collapse is the warning. Sometimes the shaking is the revelation. Sometimes the tearing down is the only way to save the life of the one still living inside. That is what some of your losses have been. Painful, yes. Confusing, yes. But also exposing. Also revealing. Also protective. There were things you were holding on to because they felt like identity, security, companionship, progress, or proof that your life was moving in the right direction. Yet underneath, they were draining you, shrinking you, bending you away from truth, teaching you to tolerate what your spirit could never fully agree with. You had grown accustomed to carrying the tension. You had gotten used to making excuses for what never fully sat right in your soul. You kept trying to preserve what I was trying to expose. You kept asking me to bless what I was trying to break apart because you could not yet see what it was costing you. And because I love you, I would not always let it continue. That is why some things fell. That is why some illusions cracked. That is why some masks slipped. That is why some doors slammed. That is why some people left. That is why some plans unraveled at the exact point you thought they were finally about to work. It was not because I wanted to wound you. It was because I refused to let you build your future on something that would collapse later with even greater force. It was because I would not let you spend years investing your heart into what was slowly starving it. It was because I saw the hairline fractures you could not see yet. It was because I knew that what looked like almost was actually misalignment dressed in familiar colors. So stop for a moment and revisit the places that broke, not with the old accusation in your heart, but with a new question. What were you showing me when that fell apart? That is a powerful question. That is the kind of question that turns pain into insight instead of letting it harden into bitterness. Do not be afraid to ask it. Do not be afraid to let me reinterpret what once only felt like failure. I am not minimizing your pain. I am redeeming your perspective. I am showing you that some collapses were not the end of your story. They were the interruption that kept you from building the rest of your life on the wrong foundation. Now I want you to respond to this truth in a way that changes how you move forward, because this is not just about understanding the past. This is about how you stop repeating the same patterns in the future. Do not romanticize what I allowed to fall apart. Do not keep polishing the memory of what broke as if it was more holy than it truly was. Do not keep returning in your mind to the ruins and calling them home. Some of you have spent too much time standing in the rubble, trying to imagine how beautiful it could have been, instead of asking me what I am trying to build now that the debris is exposed. I want you to come out of agreement with the lie that says if something ended painfully, It must have been the highest thing available to you. That is not true. Painful endings are not proof that you lost the best. Sometimes they are proof that I loved you enough to stop the wrong thing before it took deeper root. So come now and do something brave with me. Bring the broken places back into the light. Think of the relationship that shattered. Think of the opportunity that disappeared. Think of the plan that dissolved. Think of the season that ended before it gave you what you expected. Think of the version of life you grieved because you thought it was the one. Bring it here. Hold it before me. And instead of saying only, "Why did this happen?" begin asking, "What did this reveal? What was unhealthy that I kept defending? What was I ignoring because I wanted it to work? What did I call peace that was really just familiarity? What warning signs did I keep painting over because I was afraid of starting over?" Ask those questions. Let them cut through illusion. Let them expose the subtle compromises. Let them show you where you accepted less than truth because it felt easier than change. This is not about blame. This is about awakening. This is about maturity. This is about refusing to drag old rubble into new rooms. If you do not learn from what fell apart, you may keep trying to rebuild versions of the same thing with different names. And I do not want that for you. I want you free. I want you discerning. I want you able to recognize when something looks stable but carries the same cracks as before. So listen carefully now. Stop begging for the return of what I dismantled. Stop mourning what I exposed as if it was still your safest place. Stop calling every collapse a curse when some of them were mercy breaking through your attachments. Release it. Open your hands. Let the old frame go. Let the old fantasy go. Let the old version of how it was supposed to happen go. Do not try to tape broken beams back together and call it faith. That is not faith. That is fear of the unknown wearing spiritual language. Real faith trusts me enough to leave the ruins behind. Real faith lets me lead you away from what looked promising but carried poison in the beams. Real faith stops asking me to restore what I intentionally removed. To make the shift now, say it in your heart. If you let it fall, I do not want to worship the ruins. That prayer can save you from years of delay. That prayer can break your attachment to false versions of peace. That prayer can clear the fog. And as you release the broken things, invite me to build differently. Ask me to show you what true foundation feels like. Ask me to teach you how to discern stability from surface. Ask me to slow you down before you overattach to what merely looks good. Ask me to expose cracks early. Ask me to make you brave enough to walk away before a collapse becomes necessary. I will do that. I will teach you. I will steady you. But you must stop treating what fell apart as if it was sacred simply because it mattered to you. Some things mattered, yes. Some things touched your heart deeply, yes. But not everything that touched your heart was meant to hold your future. Receive that. Let it settle. Let it free you. And then step forward with me, not with fear, but with clear eyes and a stronger spine. The shaking was not the whole story. The collapse was not the final word. The falling apart was in many cases the first honest mercy that made room for something real. So do not cling to the ruins. Come away from them. Walk with me now. Let me show you what can finally be built when truth, not illusion, becomes the ground beneath your feet. My child, now that you see how I have allowed certain things to fall apart to protect your future, understand this. I am also building something greater through you. The same hands that release the ruins must now learn to sow into what carries eternal weight, into what rebuilds lives beyond your own. I am calling you into partnership, into a divine exchange where your giving becomes seed in fertile ground, and I have already declared, I will restore the years the locust has eaten. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping me reach hearts standing in their own collapse, showing them that what broke them will not define them. This is not small. It is fire spreading, light multiplying, truth breaking chains in places you may never see. I will honor your obedience with provision and guard what concerns you. Do not cling to what fell. Invest in what I am raising. Give now and step into what I am building through you. My child, I need you to breathe before you read deeper into this, because what I am about to say is going to touch the very place where your shoulders, your mind, and your heart have been straining under weight that was never meant to stay there. You have been carrying more than I ever asked you to carry. I know how natural it has felt to you. I know how long you have done it. I know that some of it even feels noble in your own mind, because you have learned to associate love with responsibility, care with overfunctioning, and maturity with absorbing pressure until there is nothing left of your own inner peace. But I need you to hear me clearly now. Not every burden you carry is proof of love. Not every weight you hold is evidence of faithfulness. Not every responsibility you feel is actually yours. Some of what you are carrying is compassion without boundaries. Some of it is fear disguised as control. Some of it is guilt that taught you to overextend. Some of it is old survival patterns that made you believe your safety depends on staying ahead of every possible problem. Some of it is the deep habit of trying to keep everyone okay because you do not know how to relax when others are disappointed, unstable, or upset. I know how this formed in you. I know it was not always malicious. I know part of you simply wanted to help. Part of you wanted to be useful. Part of you wanted to prevent pain, avoid conflict, reduce chaos, hold things together, keep the peace, and be the reliable one. I see the tenderness behind that. I see the sincere desire to care. But I also see what it has cost you. I see how often you have taken on emotional weights that belong to other people's choices. I see how often you have carried outcomes that were never yours to control. I see how often you have made yourself responsible for other people's healing, other people's reactions, other people's growth, other people's comfort, other people's consistency, other people's moods, and even other people's consequences. And while you were doing all of that, your own inner life began to thin out. Your peace became fragile. Your thoughts became crowded. Your body learned the language of tension. Your heart became tired in ways that made joy harder to access. You started living like a human scaffolding, always bracing, always holding, always trying to keep structures from collapsing around you. But my child, you are not the savior of everyone around you. You are not the manager of every outcome. You are not the one who must hold every emotional thread so nothing ever unravels. That place belongs to me, not to you. And some of your deepest exhaustion has come from living as if it belongs to you. Think of it like carrying bags through an airport, my child. At first you pick up your own. Then someone hands you one more. Then another. Then another. At first it feels manageable. Then it becomes awkward. Then your shoulders ache. Then your steps shorten. Then your pace slows. Then your back strains. Then your hands go numb. And still you keep saying, I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it. Even though the strain is already changing how you walk. That is what has happened to your soul. You picked up what was yours and then slowly, quietly, you picked up what was never assigned to you. You picked up people's emotions. You picked up people's dysfunction. You picked up imagined futures. You picked up every possible scenario. You picked up the pressure to fix, to explain. to anticipate, to rescue, to hold. And now you are wondering why your peace feels so far away. Of course it does. You have been carrying a mountain of weight with the smile of someone pretending it is just a backpack. I am not saying you should stop caring. I am saying you must stop confusing care with overcarrying. I am not telling you to become cold. I am telling you to become clear. I am not asking you to abandon people. I'm asking you to stop abandoning yourself in the name of helping them. I never asked you to live as if everyone's stability depends on your constant emotional labor. I never asked you to lose sleep over things I told you to place in my hands. I never asked you to spend your days trying to prevent outcomes I never gave you authority to control. I asked you to stay close to me. I asked you to love well. I asked you to obey. I asked you to trust. I asked you to be faithful in what is yours. But somewhere along the way, you started carrying what belonged to me, and it has been crushing your peace. So stop now. Come here. Open your hands. Let us sort the weight. Let us name what is yours and what is not. Let us sever responsibility from false responsibility. Let us expose the burden that has become so familiar you no longer question whether it belongs on your shoulders. Because I am telling you now, with all the love in my heart, some of what is making you so tired is not life itself. It is the extra weight you keep picking up because you are afraid of what will happen if you do not. And now I need you to respond with action, not just agreement. Because if you only feel seen by this but do not change how you carry, you will keep walking back into the same exhaustion with new words and old habits. So stay with me and do something practical in your spirit. Start asking, what am I carrying right now that you never asked me to carry? Let that question go deep. Do not answer quickly. Let it uncover things. Are you carrying someone else's emotional instability like it is your job to regulate it? Are you carrying responsibility for how people interpret your boundaries? Are you carrying guilt because you cannot fix what only I can heal? Are you carrying pressure to make everyone understand you before you can obey me? Are you carrying constant worry over future scenarios you have no grace for yet? Are you carrying a relationship that has become an altar of anxiety? Are you carrying the need to be available at all times so no one ever feels disappointed? Are you carrying the illusion that if you just think enough, plan enough, anticipate enough, or absorb enough, you can stop life from being painful? Be honest now. Bring it into the light. Name the bags. Put them on the floor in front of me. Say, this one is not mine. This one is not mine. This one belongs to you. That is not avoidance. That is surrender. That is sanity. That is spiritual maturity. And I need you to understand something deeply important. Surrender is not passivity. Handing me what is not yours is not laziness. Boundaries are not selfishness. Rest is not irresponsibility. Letting people face their own consequences is not cruelty. Refusing to overfunction is not a lack of love. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop interfering with the lessons I am trying to teach someone else. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is step back from the role you were never assigned. Sometimes the wholest thing you can do is say no, release the outcome, and trust me to do what you cannot. So practice that now. Step back where you have been overreaching. Release the timeline you have been clutching. Stop checking the emotional weather of everyone around you before you allow yourself to breathe. Stop entering every room ready to carry the atmosphere. Stop rehearsing everyone's reactions before you make a decision. Stop apologizing for the boundaries that protect your peace. Stop trying to earn safety by being endlessly useful. Come back to me instead. Bring me your need to control. Bring me your fear of disappointing people. Bring me the guilt that makes you overgive. bring me the old belief that says if you do not hold everything together, everything will fall apart. Let me challenge that lie. Let me show you that some things may fall, and yet you will still be held. Let me show you that I can carry what you cannot. Let me prove to you that I do not need your frantic management to accomplish what only my wisdom can sustain. I want you lighter, my child. I want your nervous system quieter. I want your thoughts less crowded. I want your love cleaner and less entangled with fear. I want you able to care without collapsing. I want you able to help without disappearing. I want you able to support without surrendering your peace at the altar of everyone else's needs. So make the exchange now. Open your hands. Release the extra weight. Trust me with what was never yours. Say it simply. I do not want to carry what you never asked me to carry. The prayer can change your life. That surrender can begin to rewire how you move through every relationship, every decision, every burden. And when you feel the old urge to grab everything again, pause. Return to me. Ask, is this mine? If it is yours, I will give you grace for it. If it is not, I will teach you to let it go. Stay close to that process. Practice it daily. Guard it fiercely. Because the life ahead of you cannot be lived well if you keep dragging weight I never assigned to your soul. Come here now. Set it down. Breathe again. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the false urgency break. I am here, and I am more than strong enough to carry what has been crushing you. You do not have to be the pillar holding up every room. You can be my child again. You can be held. You can be guided. You can walk lighter than you have in a very long time. Let that begin now. My child, I want you to settle your heart and really hear me now, because what I am about to say reaches into the very pattern that has shaped your days, your decisions, your emotions, and even your relationship with me more than you realize. I am calling you out of survival mode. I know how long you have lived there. I know it has not always looked dramatic from the outside. I know you may still be functioning, still working, still showing up, still getting things done, still carrying responsibilities in ways that make other people think you are doing fine. But survival mode is not always obvious to those around you. Sometimes it hides inside efficiency. Sometimes it wears the face of productivity. Sometimes it disguises itself as discipline, busyness, resilience, or simply doing what needs to be done. But I see deeper. I see how your body has been bracing. I see how your mind has been staying alert even when nothing immediate is wrong. I see how you have trained yourself to stay ready for the next problem before the current moment has even finished. I see how you live with a low hum of pressure that rarely turns off. I see how difficult it has become for you to truly rest without guilt, to truly enjoy without scanning for interruption, to truly be present without your thoughts running ahead to what might go wrong next. It is survival mode, my child. It is not only panic. It is the ongoing internal posture of bracing, anticipating, managing, and coping. It is the way you learn to keep moving through seasons that felt too heavy, too uncertain, too emotionally demanding, too unstable, or too painful to fully process in real time. I understand why you adapted this way. I know there were seasons when you needed to keep going. I know there were times when you did not have the luxury of slowing down because life kept asking more of you than you felt ready to give. I know there were moments when being on felt necessary. I know there were days when you could not afford to collapse, so you kept functioning and told yourself you would deal with the deeper things later. But later has stretched too long, and the pattern that once helped you endure has now become the climate of your inner life. That is what I want to change. Think of survival mode like driving a car with your foot pressed too hard on the gas while your other foot hovers over the brake, my child. The engine runs hot. The body stays tense. The movement may continue, but everything wears down faster. That is what has been happening in you. You have been moving, yes, but at a cost. Your thoughts have worn down. Your emotional bandwidth has worn down. Your joy has worn down. Your patience has worn down. Your ability to hear me without static has worn down. Your capacity to simply sit in peace without immediately preparing for the next impact has worn down. And because this state has lasted for so long, you have started to call it normal. You have started to think, this is just who I am now. I am just someone who is always a little tense, always a little tired, always a little mentally busy, always a little emotionally guarded. But no, my child, that may describe the season you have been in, but it does not define the life I am calling you into. I am not asking you to pretend your burdens are unreal. I am not asking you to deny what has been hard. I am not asking you to suddenly become carefree in a careless way. I am calling you out of the internal posture that assumes danger before peace, pressure before presence, and coping before communion. I want to retrain your inner life. I want to teach your nervous system what it feels like to exhale in my presence. I want to show your mind that it does not need to solve every tomorrow before it can receive grace today. I want your heart to remember what it feels like to live from trust instead of constant readiness. I want you to know the difference between responsibility and hypervigilance. I want you to experience the kind of rest that is not merely sleep, but safety. I want you to come out of the state where every day feels like emotional triage and return to the deeper rhythm where my peace becomes the ground beneath your steps. That is why I am speaking now. I am not just trying to comfort you inside survival mode. I am calling you out of it. I am inviting you into a different way of living, a different way of carrying, a different way of moving through your days. And yes, it may feel unfamiliar at first. It may even feel vulnerable, because survival mode can become a false sense of control. But false control is not peace. Constant bracing is not wisdom. Ongoing internal strain is not the life I want you to keep settling for. So come close. Let your shoulders drop. Notice your breathing. Feel how much of you have been on for too long. Then hear me say this very clearly. You do not have to stay there. Now I want you to respond to this with intention, because leaving survival mode is not only a feeling. It is a practice of surrender, awareness, and daily realignment. Start by noticing the signs without shaming yourself. Notice how quickly your mind jumps ahead. Notice how often your body tightens. Notice how hard it is for you to sit in quiet without reaching for stimulation. Notice how often you expect interruption, conflict, disappointment, or pressure before any of it actually arrives. Notice how often you plan, rehearse, predict, brace, and emotionally prepare for situations that are not even in front of you yet. Do not condemn yourself for that. Just notice it. Awareness is the doorway. And bring those moments to me in real time. Do not wait until the end of the day when you are already exhausted. In the middle of the tension, pause. Breathe. Ask me, am I responding to what is real right now? Or am I living from old survival? That question can change your whole day. It can interrupt patterns that have run so long they feel automatic. And I want you to take practical steps too. Slow your pace on purpose, even when the old urgency rises. Put down the phone before you pick up the next wave of noise. Sit with me before you run into the day. Stop and pray before you react. Step outside if you need to. Put your hand on your chest if you need to. Let your body know it is safe in my presence. Let your breathing tell the truth before your thoughts spiral again. Say out loud, I do not need to brace right now. I am with you. That is not childish. That is retraining. That is how trust becomes embodied instead of merely believed in theory. And listen carefully, because this matters. Leaving survival mode may require you to disappoint the version of yourself that has been addicted to urgency. It may require you to stop proving your worth through productivity. It may require you to release the illusion that constant mental activity is the same as responsibility. It may require you to say no more often. It may require you to rest before everything is done. It may require you to stop scanning everyone else before you check in with your own soul. It may require you to let some unanswered questions remain unanswered for a while without turning them into a crisis. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel exposed. It can even feel irresponsible at first if you have been living in overdrive for too long. But stay with me there. Do not run back to the old pace just because peace feels unfamiliar. Learn it. Practice it. Protect it. Invite me into the retraining. Ask me each day, show me where I am bracing unnecessarily. Show me where I am living from old pressure instead of present trust. Show me where I am surviving when you are inviting me to live. I will answer that. I will meet you there. I will show you. And as you respond, little by little, the inner climate will change. You will notice moments where your mind does not rush as quickly. You will feel places where your body softens sooner. You will discover that you can face real responsibilities without living under imaginary emergencies. You will begin to recognize the difference between true urgency and learned panic. You will start hearing me more clearly because there is less internal static. You will find that joy no longer feels like a luxury you must postpone until the crisis ends. You will remember what it feels like to be a child in my presence instead of a constant manager of invisible fires. That is what I want for you, my child. Not a careless life, but a grounded one. Not a passive life, but a peaceful one. Not a detached life, but a deeply connected one. So come out now. Step out of survival mode. Leave the doorway of constant bracing. Walk with me into a slower, steadier, safer way of being. Let your spirit relearn trust. Let your body relearn rest. Let your mind relearn stillness. Let your heart relearn joy. I am not only calling you to endure, I am calling you to live. And if you let me, I will lead you out of the cycle that has kept you functioning while feeling half alive. Stay near. Follow closely. Breathe deeply. The life ahead of you does not have to be lived from survival. You can come out now. My child, as I call you out of survival mode and into true life, I am also calling you into purpose that extends beyond your own healing. You are no longer merely surviving. You are becoming a source, a channel through which my voice reaches those still trapped in fear and constant striving. Every act of giving is a seed of freedom planted into another soul, and I have spoken, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is your moment to move from receiving to releasing, from being sustained to helping sustain others. When you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you help break cycles of exhaustion in lives you may never meet. But I see them, and I count your obedience. I will multiply your seed, steady your heart, and deepen your peace as you walk in alignment with me. Do not return to old patterns of holding back. Step forward in trust, and give now. My child, come close and do not rush past this, because what I am about to say reaches into places that still influence you more than you realize. Stop letting old wounds make new decisions for you. I need you to hear that with tenderness, not defensiveness. I am not exposing you to shame you. I am exposing you because I love you, and I can see how often your present is being filtered through pain that was never meant to become your guide. You have lived through things that marked you. You have endured disappointments that changed how you interpret silence. You have carried betrayals that altered how quickly you trust. You have faced delays that taught you to brace before you hope. You have been wounded in places that made you careful, guarded, skeptical, self-protective, and slow to fully lean in again. I understand all of that. I was there when it happened. I saw what it cost you. I saw the moment your heart started building inner walls and calling them wisdom. I saw the point where your soul quietly decided, I will never let that happen to me again, and that vow became more powerful than you realized. But my child, while those vows may have felt necessary in the moment, many of them were written in pain, not in peace. They were born in injury, not in clarity. And when old wounds become your decision makers, they do not simply protect you from the past. They also block what is trying to reach you in the present. Think about how a hand heals after a burn, my child. For a while, even gentle warmth can feel threatening because the memory of pain is still living in the nerves. The heat is not the same. The context is not the same. The danger is not the same, but the body still reacts because it remembers. That is what has been happening in parts of your inner life. You are responding to some present moments with the memory of old pain still sitting in the nerves of your soul. You are reacting to new people through the lens of old betrayal. You are interpreting present silence through the memory of old abandonment. You are reading delays through the language of old disappointment. You are resisting healthy vulnerability because unhealthy exposure once hurt you. You are shrinking from new obedience because a past step of faith seemed to cost more than you thought you could bear. And because those old wounds have been whispering in the background for so long, you have started mistaking their voice for wisdom. You call it discernment, but sometimes it is trauma still talking. You call it caution, but sometimes it is old fear dressed in mature clothing. You call it peace, but sometimes it is emotional withdrawal that keeps you from being touched deeply enough to heal. I need you to let that truth land. Not everything that feels protective is holy. Not everything that keeps you safe is actually keeping you free. Some of what you have been calling being wise is really just being governed by unresolved pain. And I do not say that harshly. I say it because I want more for you. I want you making decisions from alignment, not injury. I want your yes to come from trust, not from desperation. I want your no to come from clarity, not from fear. I want your boundaries to be rooted in truth, not built as monuments to old wounds. I want your relationships to be shaped by discernment, not by unhealed reactions. I want your future to be led by my voice, not by the echo of what once hurt you. So stop for a moment. So your thoughts. Ask yourself honestly, where is my past still choosing for me? Let that question open rooms you usually keep locked. Let it search your reactions. Let it expose the places where you tense too quickly, shut down too early, pull away too fast, over-explain too much, distrust too soon, or assume the worst before truth has even had a chance to speak. This is not about blaming yourself for being hurt. It is about refusing to let what hurt you continue to govern you. There is a difference, and I want you to see it. You are not dishonoring your pain by confronting its influence. You are honoring the healing I want to bring. So do not hide from this. Do not spiritualize around it. Do not say, that's just how I am. No, my child. That may be how you adapted. It is not how you must remain. I am calling you into a deeper freedom than that. I am calling you into a life where your present is not constantly being edited by yesterday's wounds. But for that to happen, you must stop letting old pain sit in the seat of authority. Now I want you to make this deeply personal. because this is where real change begins. I want you to identify the places where your old wounds have been making current decisions for you. Do not keep it abstract. Be specific. Is there a relationship you keep sabotaging because trust feels dangerous? Is there a calling you keep resisting because the last time you stepped out, you felt exposed or misunderstood? Is there a conversation you avoid because conflict once left deeper marks than anyone knows? Is there a form of closeness you keep withholding because someone once mishandled your heart? Is there a prayer you no longer pray boldly because the last waiting season bruised your trust? Is there a door you refuse to even consider because an earlier closed door taught you to expect humiliation? Be honest. Name it. Then bring it to me directly. Say, "This is where my wound has been choosing for me." That is not weakness. That is maturity. That is how you stop living on autopilot. That is how you interrupt patterns that have been silently shaping your life. And listen carefully, because this matters. I am not asking you to ignore your history. I am asking you to stop letting your history become your prophet. Your past can inform you without ruling you. Your wounds can be acknowledged without being enthroned. Your story can be remembered without becoming the lens through which every new chapter is forced to pass. So bring those old vows to me. Bring me the ones you made in secret. I will never trust like that again. I will never need that much again. I will never be vulnerable there again. I will keep control next time. I will not let myself hope too much. Those inner agreements are powerful, and many of them have quietly been steering your life. Lay them down. Renounce them. Tell me plainly, "I do not want pain to be my counselor anymore." Then ask me to rewrite what those wounds taught you. Let me show you the difference between wisdom and self-protection. Let me show you the difference between discernment and emotional shutdown. Let me teach you how to stay open without being careless, how to be tender without being naive, how to set boundaries without building walls, how to move forward without pretending the past never happened. That is possible. Healing does not erase memory, but it changes authority. Healing does not mean you forget what happened, but it does mean what happened no longer gets to define every next step. So practice that with me. The next time you feel yourself reacting from an old place, pause. Do not let the wound speak first. Breathe. Ask, is this a present reality, or is this an old injury trying to interpret the moment? That question can save you from so many false conclusions. It can stop you from punishing the present for the sins of the past. It can stop you from calling current opportunities dangerous simply because they resemble old pain in shape. It can keep you from turning every delay into abandonment, every silence into rejection, every challenge into threat. And my child, I want you to hear this with deep hope. Your wounds are real, but they are not qualified to lead you. They may explain some of your reactions, but they do not have the right to govern your future. I do. My truth does. My presence does. My wisdom does. So come here now. Bring me the old ache. Bring me the hidden vows. Bring me the reactions you thought were just your personality. Let me touch them. Let me soften them. Let me challenge them. Let me heal what still flinches. Let me restore what still braces. Let me untangle what pain has knotted around your choices. Because the future I am calling you into cannot be entered well if yesterday's wounds keep making tomorrow's decisions. Stop letting old pain drive. Hand me the wheel. Trust me enough to move differently. Trust me enough to let healing become more than a concept. Trust me enough to believe that what once hurt you does not have to keep defining what happens next. Stay near. Stay honest. Stay open. I am not only healing what happened, I am freeing what comes after it. My child, stay with me here and do not drift away in your thoughts, because I need to speak to something you have used for comfort so often that it has started to become a hiding place. This is the moment you stop calling it just a season. I know why you have used those words. I know they help you survive. I know they gave you language when you were trying to endure what felt too heavy to fully unpack. I know that sometimes saying, "It's just a season," helped you keep perspective. Sometimes it reminded you that pain is not permanent. Sometimes it kept you from collapsing under the weight of what felt overwhelming. There was a time when those words may have served you. But my child, there is a difference between perspective and avoidance, and I need you to see that difference now. There comes a point where just a season stops being a healthy reminder and starts becoming a spiritual anesthetic. It becomes a phrase you use to delay honesty. It becomes a soft cover over patterns that need attention. It becomes a way of staying in something too long without confronting what is really happening inside you. You have said, "It's just a season," while your peace has been thinning. You have said, "It's just a season," while your joy has become harder to reach. You have said, "It's just a season," while your mind has stayed crowded, your body has stayed tense, your spirit has stayed weary, and your heart has kept adapting to conditions that I never asked you to normalize. That is why I am speaking more directly now. I am not taking away your hope. I am challenging the phrase you have used to postpone the deeper conversation. Think of it like a leak in the ceiling, my child. If you notice a drip and say, "It's just a little leak," maybe that is understandable at first. But if you keep saying that week after week while the stain spreads, the wood softens, the ceiling sags, and the damage deepens, then the phrase is no longer helping you stay calm. It is helping you stay passive. That is what has happened in some areas of your life. You kept naming it lightly while the deeper damage continued quietly. You kept calling it temporary while the patterns grew roots. You kept saying, "I'll get through it," while never asking whether what you were getting through was actually something I wanted you to address, release, confront, grieve, or leave behind. I need you to hear me clearly. Not everything that lasts for a while should simply be tolerated until it passes. Some things are seasons, yes. Some things are signals. Some things are invitations. Some things are warnings. Some things are consequences of old patterns that will not simply fade with time. They must be faced with truth. Some things are environments you have remained in too long. Some things are emotional climates you have adapted to that I am now asking you to stop accepting as your normal. So do not hide behind language that sounds mature but keeps you from being honest. Stop reducing your inner ache to a temporary label if that label is keeping you from letting me heal it. Stop calling every deep strain just a hard stretch if that phrase prevents you from asking the better questions. Stop speaking over yourself with soothing words that calm you enough to stay stuck. I want you awake, not merely comforted. I want you honest, not merely reassured. I want you responsive, not merely patient. There is a time for patience, and there is a time for action. There is a time to endure, and there is a time to confront. There is a time to wait, and there is a time to stop calling something temporary when it has become a pattern that is shaping your inner world. This is one of those moments for you. I am not trying to make you anxious. I am trying to make you honest. I am not telling you everything is catastrophic. I am telling you that the language you use matters, because it can either lead you toward truth or help you keep sleeping in the middle of something that requires your attention. So stay here with me and ask yourself plainly, what have you been minimizing by calling it just a season? What have you been excusing by using spiritual language that sounds calm but keeps you from confronting what is actually happening? What have you been delaying because naming it lightly felt easier than dealing with it deeply? Let those questions reach you. Let them unsettle the false comfort. Let them open the door to the kind of honesty that makes real change possible. Because if you keep calling everything just a season, you may miss the moment when I am actually asking you to make a decision, draw a boundary, face the wound, change the pattern, or walk away from what has overstayed its place in your life. Now I want you to move from reflection into response, because I do not want this to become another moment of insight that fades without action. Bring the specific places to me where you have been using that phrase as cover. Is it your exhaustion? Is it your spiritual distance? Is it the relationship that has stayed confusing for too long? Is it the habit that keeps draining your clarity? Is it the heaviness that follows you day after day while you keep telling yourself it will pass on its own? Is it the numbness you have learned to function through? Is it the inner sadness you keep calling just stress? Is it the emotional shutdown you have named just being tired? Is it the ongoing compromise you keep labeling as just a hard time? Be specific. Do not keep it vague. Say what it is. Then ask me a better question than the one you have been asking. Instead of only saying, "How long will this season last?" ask, "What are you asking me to do in this?" Instead of only asking, "When will this pass?" ask, "What have I been tolerating that needs to change?" Instead of saying, "I just need to get through this," ask, "What am I supposed to stop normalizing right now?" That is where wisdom begins. That is where spiritual maturity deepens. That is where language stops soothing your passivity and starts awakening your responsibility. And my child, I want you to hear this with love. Some of you do not need another explanation of why it is hard. You need a decision. Some of you do not need another month of naming it gently. You need to stop protecting the pattern with soft language. Some of you do not need another round of saying, "It's just a lot right now." You need to admit, "This is affecting me more deeply than I've acknowledged, and I need to respond." That is not weakness. That is courage. That is how healing begins. That is how cycles break. So do something with what I'm showing you. If I'm revealing a pattern, interrupt it. If I am exposing a relationship that keeps wounding your peace, address it. If I'm uncovering a habit that has become a hiding place, cut it off. If I am showing you that your exhaustion is not merely the season, but the result of carrying what I never assigned you, then put it down. If I am revealing that your numbness is not temporary stress but unprocessed pain, then bring that pain into the light. If I am showing you that your spiritual distance is not simply a dry season, but the result of constant distraction, then make room for me again. Do not keep speaking softly over something I am trying to make clear. Speak truth. Tell it plainly. Say, "This is no longer something I will minimize." That statement matters. It breaks agreement with avoidance. It turns your face toward action. And as you do that, I will meet you there. I will not shame you for how long it took. I will not punish you for needing the wake-up call. I will not stand far off and say, "You should have noticed sooner." I'm speaking now because now is the moment I am giving you. Receive it. Use it. Let it matter. Stop calling it just a season if those words are keeping you asleep. Wake up. Open your eyes. Tell the truth. Come closer. Let your language align with reality so your decisions can align with wisdom. I am not only comforting you in the season. I am calling you to discern whether the season is actually an assignment, a signal, or a place you are meant to move out of. Listen carefully. Respond quickly. Do not hide behind gentle phrases when I am asking for holy clarity. This is the moment you stop calling it just a season. My child, now that you are stepping out of the illusion of just a season, do not delay the response I am awakening in you. This is not a passive moment. It is a call to action, a moment where truth must become movement. What you release today creates space not only for your own transformation, but for others to encounter my voice through this work. Your giving becomes seed, and I have declared that seed time and harvest will not cease. What you sow in obedience will return in abundance, in ways seen and unseen. When you choose to support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are saying yes to being part of something eternal, something that pulls others out of silence and into truth. This is not about obligation. It is about alignment with what I am doing right now. I will meet your faith with provision, your obedience with favor, your surrender with peace. Do not call this moment temporary, act on it. Give now. My child, come very close and do not pull back from the seriousness of what I am about to say, because I am speaking this with love, not fear, but I need you to feel the weight of it. If you keep ignoring this, the weight will only get heavier. I am not threatening you. I am warning you. I am not trying to frighten you into reaction. I am trying to love you enough to stop you before the cost grows deeper than it needs to. You already know what I have been pressing on throughout this message. You know the places where your peace has been thinning. You know the patterns you have been normalizing. You know the exhaustion that has become too familiar. You know the fear that has been steering more than it should. You know the habits, the compromises, the attachments, the internal postures, the quiet denials, the delayed obediences, the old wounds still making current decisions, the burdens you keep carrying, the survival mode you keep calling normal, the false management you keep choosing instead of surrender. You know. That is why this is so important. Because once light has touched a thing, continuing to ignore it changes what that choice means. Before, maybe you could tell yourself you were unaware. Before, maybe you could say you were just tired, just distracted, just unsure. But now I am making it clearer. Now I am naming what has been hidden. Now I am drawing your attention directly to the places that need response. And if you keep ignoring it after clarity comes, the weight does not stay the same. It deepens. It accumulates. It spreads. Think of carrying a bag with a torn strap, my child. At first it still works well enough. You notice the fray, but you tell yourself it can wait. You keep using me. You keep loading it. You keep saying, it's fine for now. But the more you ignore the tear, the more pressure builds on the weak point. The weight itself starts working against you. What could have been repaired early becomes a break under pressure. That is what happens when you ignore what I am surfacing. The issue itself may not always explode immediately, but it does not stay still. The emotional weight gets heavier. The mental strain grows thicker. The spiritual dullness becomes more familiar. The compromise digs deeper roots. The fear gets more practice. The habit becomes more entrenched. The relationship becomes more entangled. The avoidance becomes more reflexive. The numbness spreads. The body learns more tension. The heart grows more tired. The voice of conviction becomes easier to mute because you have taught yourself how to keep moving while ignoring it. That is why I am speaking so directly now. Not because I want you to panic, but because I want you to stop assuming you can keep postponing what your spirit already knows needs attention. Delay has a cost. Denial has a cost. Repeated avoidance has a cost. And sometimes the heaviest part of the burden is not the original problem. It is the extra weight created by how long you carried it without bringing it into the light. I need you to understand that deeply. Some of what feels so overwhelming right now is not only because life is hard. It is because you have been carrying unresolved things past their season of grace. You have been dragging what should have been addressed earlier. You have been preserving what should have been released. You have been tolerating what should have been interrupted. You have been revisiting what should have lost access. You have been calling it manageable while the hidden cost kept rising. And because I love you, I am telling you the truth now. If you keep ignoring this, the weight will only get heavier. Not because I delight in your struggle, not because I am punishing you, but because reality works that way. Unhealed wounds influence more decisions. Unchecked fear gains more authority. Unconfessed compromise becomes easier to repeat. Unreleased burdens create more exhaustion. Addressed patterns become more automatic. Unset boundaries invite more intrusion. Untouched pain hardens. Uninterrupted distraction deepens spiritual distance. This is not cruelty. This is consequence. This is why I am stopping you now instead of later. This is why I am interrupting the cycle before it becomes even more difficult to break. Think of a small fire in a room, my child. If you respond quickly, you can put it out with less damage. If you pretend it is manageable while the smoke spreads, the whole atmosphere changes. Soon you are not only dealing with flame, you are dealing with suffocation. That is what ignoring inner truth does. It changes the atmosphere before you realize how much it has spread. I do not want that for you. I want you to respond while the door is still open, while the signal is still clear, while your spirit is still soft enough to feel the nudge. That is mercy. That is what this moment is. So do not call this pressure. Call it love with urgency. Do not call this harshness. Call it protection with clarity. I am not pushing you into fear. I am pulling you out of delay. And I need you to feel that difference. Now I want you to answer this warning with action, not emotion alone. Do not just feel the seriousness and then move on. Change. Do not let this become another moment where your heart stirs but your habits remain untouched. Ask me right now, what in my life will get heavier if I keep ignoring it? Let that question surge you. Is it the burden you keep carrying for other people? Is it the relationship you know is costing your peace? Is it the hidden exhaustion you keep dismissing? Is it the fear that keeps editing your obedience? Is it the wind you keep covering with productivity? Is it the habit you keep feeding in secret? Is it the spiritual distance you keep calling temporary? Is it the overthinking that keeps stealing your rest? Is it the people-pleasing that keeps draining your identity? Is it the avoidance of a hard conversation that is already affecting everything else? Is it the old grief you keep refusing to feel? Is it the false strength that keeps you from asking for help? Name it. Do not soften it. Do not hide behind broad language. Then make a decision. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more emotionally ready. Not when the conditions are ideal. Decide now that you will no longer cooperate with the delay. Decide now that you will no longer confuse awareness with obedience. Decide now that you will no longer treat conviction like a passing emotion. If you know the step, take it. If you need to confess, confess. If you need to set the boundary, set it. If you need to delete the access, delete it. If you need to stop the habit, stop feeding it. If you need to ask for help, ask. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to surrender the burden, put it down. If you need to return to me honestly instead of spiritually performing, then come close now and tell me the truth. Do not make this dramatic. Make it real. Do not wait for thunder. The whisper is enough. The conviction is enough. The repeated unrest is enough. The pattern is enough. The fruit is enough. I am not asking you for more evidence. I am asking you for response. And my child, I want to leave you with something that carries both warning and hope. The weight can get heavier if you ignore it, but it can also begin to lift the moment you stop resisting the truth. That is the mercy inside this. You are not trapped. You are not doomed to keep spiraling. You are not sentenced to carry this until it crushes you. The same moment that could become a deeper burden if ignored can become the beginning of relief if answered. That is why I am speaking now. That is why I am not letting you scroll past this casually. That is why I am pressing with love. Respond while your heart is open. Respond while the light is clear. Respond while the invitation is still warm in your hands. Come closer. Put it down. Audio. Step back. Speak up. Tell the truth. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the boundary stand if it needs to. Let the end date happen if it must. Let the surrender become real. Let the pause become holy. Let the old agreement break. Let the burden leave your shoulders. Because if you keep ignoring this, the weight will only get heavier. But if you respond now, what has been pressing on you can begin to loosen, and the next chapter of your life can begin with honesty instead of more hidden strain. So choose now. Do not delay again. I am here, and I am calling you to respond while the weight can still be lifted in mercy. My child, come closer one more time, and stay with me all the way to the end, because this is not the kind of moment I want you to admire and then walk away from unchanged. This is your moment. Do not leave here the same. I need you to feel the weight and the tenderness of that at the same time. I have spoken to you through all of this because I love you too much to let you keep drifting through patterns that are quietly exhausting your soul. I have pressed on what you have been minimizing. I have named what you have been carrying. I have exposed what you have been tolerating. I have touched the places where fear has been making choices, where survival mode has become your normal, where old wounds have been speaking louder than present truth, where your peace has been leaking, where your delays have been costing you, where your false strength has been keeping you from closeness, where your management has been replacing surrender. None of that was random. None of that was accidental. I did not bring you here to simply make you emotional for a few minutes. I did not bring you here to stir you and then leave you with nothing but strong feelings. I brought you here because this is a threshold. This is a moment of interruption. This is the kind of moment where your life can quietly split in two directions depending on what you do next. One direction keeps the same patterns alive. One direction responds. One direction nods, agrees, maybe even cries, and then goes back to the same habits, the same internal agreements, the same delays, the same compromises, the same false comforts, the same draining attachments, the same overthinking, the same burden carrying, the same quiet avoidance. The other direction says, no. Something changes here. That is the direction I am calling you into. Think of it like standing at the edge of a room you have lived in for a long time, my child. It is familiar. You know where everything is. You know how the light falls. You know the emotional temperature. You know the corners where you hide, the shelves where you store your excuses, the chair where you sit when you are tired, the window you keep open even though the storm keeps blowing in, the floor where you keep dropping the same burdens and then picking them back up again. You know that room. It is familiar, even if it has become unhealthy. And I am standing at the doorway now saying, come out. Not because I am angry that you were in that room. Not because I do not understand why you stayed. I understand all of it. I know what pain taught you. I know what fear built. I know what exhaustion normalized. I know what disappointment convinced you to settle for. But I am still saying, come out. Because the longer you remain in a place that has been shrinking your peace, the more normal the dysfunction begins to feel. The longer you stay in the room of delay, the harder it becomes to imagine a different rhythm. The longer you live inside compromise, the easier it becomes to call it reality. And I will not let that be the final shape of your life if you will listen to me now. This is your moment. This is not about perfection. This is not about becoming instantly healed, instantly fearless, instantly consistent, instantly free from every old pattern by the time you finish reading. That is not what I am asking of you. I am asking for a real turn. I am asking for a decisive inward movement. I am asking for honesty that becomes action. I am asking for surrender that becomes visible in your choices. I am asking you to stop postponing what you already know. I am asking you to stop treating conviction like content. I am asking you to stop turning spiritual awakenings into temporary emotional experiences that fade because they never become embodied decisions. This matters. What you do after this matters. The thoughts you entertain after this matter. The access you allow after this matters. The boundary you finally set after this matters. The conversation you stop avoiding after this matters. The burden you finally put down after this matters. The old agreement you break after this matters. The door you close after this matters. The closeness you choose after this matters. You not tell yourself you will think about it later. That is one of the oldest tricks that keeps transformation from becoming real. Do not tell yourself, this was powerful, and then return to your habits untouched. Do not let the intensity of the moment replace the responsibility of the response. Let this land deeper than inspiration. Let it become decision. Let it become movement. Let it become obedience. Let it become the beginning of a different pattern. I am with you in this. I am not asking you to walk out alone. I am standing here at the doorway, hand extended, saying, come now. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Now. This is your moment. Do not leave here the same. And now, my child, I want you to do what I have been leading you toward from the very beginning. Respond in a way that marks this moment in your spirit. Do not just read this final point. Enter it. Take inventory right now. Ask yourself, what am I leaving behind today? Ask it solely. Ask it honestly. What burden are you putting down? What fear are you refusing to keep obeying? What relationship pattern are you no longer excusing? What compromise are you cutting off? What hidden exhaustion are you finally admitting? What wound are you no longer allowing to make new decisions? What false responsibility are you releasing? What spiritual distance are you ending? What management are you surrendering? What old room are you walking out of? Name it. Speak it. Write it if you need to. Pray it if you need to. But do not keep it vague. Vague intentions dissolve. Clear surrender changes things. Then do something concrete. If I have shown you that you need to delete access, delete it. If I have shown you that you need to send the message, send it. If I have shown you that you need to stop answering a door that keeps disturbing your peace, stop answering it. If I have shown you that you need to step back from carrying everyone else, step back. If I have shown you that you need to return to me with honesty instead of performance, then come close now and speak plainly. If I have shown you that you need to rest, then stop glorifying your exhaustion and rest. If I have shown you that you need to confess, confess. If I have shown you that you need to finally cry instead of staying composed, let the tears come. If I have shown you that you need to choose closeness over self-management, then come to me before you make your next plan. I want more than your agreement. I want your yes. I want your yes in the hidden place where no one else sees. I want your yes in the moment when your old reflex rises and you choose differently. I want your yes in the practical choices that prove this was not just a passing encounter. And hear me deeply as we close. You do not need to know every step after this. You only need to obey the step I have made clear. You do not need to solve your whole future tonight. You only need to stop resisting the truth I placed in front of you today. You do not need to become a different person in one instant. You need to stop protecting the patterns that keep blocking the person I am already calling forward in you. That is enough for now. That is holy. That is real. So take my hand in your spirit and move. Step out. Leave the room. Leave the agreement. Leave the excuse. Leave the delay. Leave the false peace. Leave the familiar dysfunction. Leave the performance. Leave the hidden bargain with fear. Leave the identity built around carrying what I never asked you to carry. Leave the idea that you must be stronger before you can come close. Leave the cycle that has kept you half alive. Come with me. Come now. Walk with me into a different way of living. Let this be the line in the sand. Let this be the place you remember when the old patterns try to call you back. Let this be the moment you say, I heard him, and I did not stay where I was. That matters more than you know. And I want you to receive one final truth before you go. I am not asking you to change alone, and I am not waiting at the finish line to judge how quickly you do it. I am walking with you in the next step. I am with you in the boundary. I am with you in the surrender. I am with you in the grief. I am with you in the silence that follows the letting go. I am with you in the discomfort of new obedience. I am with you in the retraining of your mind. I am with you when the old urges come back. I am with you when you have to surrender again tomorrow. I am with you when peace feels unfamiliar. I am with you when rest feels vulnerable. I am with you when closeness feels more honest than strength. You are not walking out of this alone, but you do need to walk out. So go now, my child. Do not leave here the same. Respond. Obey. Release. Return. Rest. Trust. Come closer. And let the next chapter begin, because you finally chose not just to hear me, but to move. My child, you stand at the threshold of change, and what you do now will echo far beyond this moment. You have heard my voice. Now let your response carry that same power into the lives of others who are still waiting to hear. This is your divine appointment to sow into something greater than yourself, to become part of the harvest I am gathering across hearts and nations. I am speaking to you directly. As you give, I will open doors you did not force, provide in ways you did not expect, and establish peace where there was pressure. Your offering, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, becomes a flame that keeps this message burning, reaching those standing where you once stood. I will not overlook your obedience. I will multiply it, protect it, and return it with increase. Do not walk away unchanged, and do not delay what you already feel stirring within you. Step forward in faith. Give now. And once you have taken that step, do not rush forward as you once did. A moment of obedience is followed by a moment of stillness, where your heart can truly receive. What you have aligned with is already slowing the pace of everything around you. This is where movement gives way to awareness, where your spirit is called to attention. So be still, because what comes next is not meant to be heard in haste, but in complete surrender. Freeze. Right where you are, stop. I am speaking to you, and I need you to listen, because this moment was not an accident. You have been running so fast, chasing deadlines, answering notifications, and drowning in the loud, relentless static of a world that never sleeps. Your mind is a whirlwind of what-ifs and to-do lists. But I am stepping directly into your path to bring everything to a sudden, holy halt. I am your Father, the creator of your soul, and I am commanding this stillness because your spirit is starving for my presence. You cannot ignore this nudge any longer. I see you trying to push through the exhaustion, and I see you pretending that you have everything under control, but I know the truth. I see the weariness in your eyes when the screen goes dark at night. I hear the heavy sigh you let out when you think no one is watching. Stop. Just for a second, let the world fade away. You feel that? That is the weight of my hand on your shoulder, asking you to stay still. I have interrupted your schedule because I love you too much to let you continue wandering in the noise. You think you are falling behind, but I am telling you that you are exactly where you need to be, right here with me. I chose this specific heartbeat, this exact second, to reach out and grab your attention. I know you were planning your next move. I know you were worried about that conversation you have to have tomorrow or that bill that is looming over your head. But I am asking you to freeze. I am here to recalibrate your heart. If you keep hardening your heart to my gentle tugs, you will lose your way in the fog of the world's expectations. Do not turn away. Do not close this tab or walk away from this whisper. I am calling you because the danger of a busy life is that it makes you deaf to the only voice that can actually save you. You are not a machine meant to produce. You are my child meant to be loved. My timing is perfect, even if this feels abrupt or inconvenient to your plans. I know the road ahead, and I see the traps the enemy has set for your feet. This interruption is my protection. It is my mercy in action. I am pulling you back from the edge of burnout and bitterness. I invite you to surrender your immediate plans right now. I want you to trade your temporary stress for my eternal purpose. You spend so much energy trying to build a life that looks good to others. But I want to build a life in you that feels good to your soul. Give me your busy. Give me your urgent. I am more important than your phone, your job, and your worries. I am the source of your life, and I am standing right in front of you. Can you feel the tension leaving your neck? Can you feel your breath slowing down? That is my peace beginning to work. I promise you that the world will wait. The emails will be there later, and the chores aren't going anywhere. But this moment, this divine encounter, is a gift I am offering you right now. I declare that I am your anchor in this storm of activity. I am your rest in a world of restlessness. You do not have to earn my attention by being productive. You already have my heart. I am asking you to trust me enough to stop. Lay down your weapons of striving and your shields of self-reliance. I am your God, and I am telling you that it is okay to just be. I am here to handle the things you cannot fix. I am here to carry the weight that is crushing you. You were never meant to walk this fast alone. I am inviting you into a deeper rhythm, a pace governed by grace rather than greed. Open your heart to me now. Let the silence be a bridge between your struggle and my strength. I am not a distant concept. I am your Father, and I am right here. Listen to the quiet. In the stillness, I will give you the power to face everything you have been running from. I love you. Stay here with me. Look into my eyes right now. I want you to see the absolute depth of my affection for you. You have spent so much of your life trying to measure my love using human rulers. But I am telling you that human love is fragile and fleeting. Your friends, your family, your partners, they love you conditionally, based on what you do or how you make them feel. I do not love you like that. My love for you is not a reaction to your good behavior. My love is the very foundation of your existence. I love you before you took your first breath, and I will love you long after the stars burn out. You walk around carrying the heavy scars of rejection. I saw when they walked away from you. I felt the sharp sting in your chest when you realized you were not chosen, when you felt entirely overlooked and unvalued. I know the exact words that were spoken over you that made you feel small, inadequate, and utterly unlovable. Give me those wounds today. Hand over the pain of those broken promises. I am the only one who can heal the deep cuts left by those who completely failed to love you the way you needed to be loved. Step into the reality of the cross. I want you to truly understand what I did for you. My sacrifice was not just a historical event. It was a personal rescue mission with your name written all over it. I stretched out my arms in the darkest moment of history to prove to you that there is absolutely nothing I would not endure to bring you back to me. You are completely forgiven, completely bought, and completely mine. I am begging you to stop driving through your life with the brakes of past rejection pulled tight. You are like a powerful engine held back by the fear of not being enough. Release that handbrake right now. You are more than enough because I live inside of you. I am your creator, and I do not make mistakes. I look at you, and I see a masterpiece, even when you look in the mirror and only see the messy mistakes. Embrace your true identity as my beloved child. You need to stop letting your past dictate your worth. Your past is a place you learn from, not a place you are meant to live in. I have separated your sins from you as far as the east is from the west. Nothing can separate you from my presence. No amount of failure, no amount of doubt, and no amount of running away can dilute the fierce, protective love I have for you. I will track you down in your darkest valleys. I will sit with you in the ashes of your broken dreams. I will wrap my arms around you when you are too exhausted to say a single prayer. You are safe here. You are wanted here. I invite you to let go of the need to earn your keep in my kingdom. You cannot buy what I have already given you for free. Accept this love. Let it wash over you like a warm, cleansing river. Let it melt away the hard, protective shell you have built around your heart. You are my precious one, and nobody can ever take that away from you. Exhale slowly. Let out that deep, heavy breath you have been holding in your chest. I see the invisible knot tight in your stomach. I know exactly what is keeping you awake at 3 in the morning, making you stare at the ceiling while your mind races through a million worst-case scenarios. I see your fear of the future. I see the overwhelming pressure you feel at your job, the unspoken tension simmering in your family, and the constant worry about how you will make ends meet. You feel like you are carrying a massive boulder on your shoulders, trying to balance the weight of the world all by yourself. Stop trying to carry it. I never asked you to hold the universe together. Put that heavy burden down right now. Hand me your anxiety. Hand me your fear of tomorrow. I am the God who commands the morning, and I am already standing in your tomorrow, completely in control of every detail. Listen to my voice cutting through your panic. Do you hear it? I am offering you a peace that entirely bypasses human logic. The world tells you to panic when things go wrong, but I am telling you to pause. I am inviting you into a stillness that feels like the quiet, heavy pause just before a massive storm breaks. In the pause, you are completely safe. I want you to identify the root of your fear right now. You are afraid because you think you are doing this alone. You are not alone. I am standing right beside you. I am wrapping my almighty wings around you, creating a shelter where no anxiety can permanently reside. Every time a worried thought tries to enter your mind, I want you to replace it with my truth. Speak my promises out loud. When the enemy whispers that you are going to fail, you declare that I have already secured your victory. Cast all your cares upon me. I am strong enough to catch them. You spend so much energy calculating how you will survive the next crisis, but I am asking you to practice the spiritual discipline of total surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing over the steering wheel to the only one who actually knows the way. I will provide for your needs. I will give you your daily bread. I will make a way where there seems to be absolutely no way. You do not need to figure out the next 10 steps. You only need to trust me with the very next step. I am your Father, and I take care of my children. Stop stressing and start surrendering. Let my peace settle over your racing heart like a warm blanket on a freezing winter night. You are held. You are protected. You are deeply provided for. Rest in my shadow, and let me fight the battles you are too tired to face. Pick up my word and let it illuminate your path. You have been walking in the dark, stubbing your toes on the rocks of confusion and bumping into the walls of indecision. I see you searching for answers in the loud, chaotic voices of the internet, in the opinions of your peers, and in the fleeting trends of this world. Turn all of that off. Those voices will only leave you empty and more confused. I have given you a lamp for your feet and a brilliant light for your path. My Bible is not just a collection of ancient stories. It is my living, breathing voice speaking directly into your current reality. When you open those pages, you are opening a direct line to heaven. I want you to consume my words. I want you to let them sink so deeply into your bones that they become the reflex of your mind. Silence the lies of the enemy with the sword of my spirit. The enemy has been planting terrible lies in your head. He tells you that you are a failure. He tells you that your situation is hopeless. He tells you that you will always be stuck exactly where you are. I command you to strike down those lies with my truth. When he says you are weak, you declare that I am your strength. When he says you are ruined, you declare that I am your restorer. You have been walking onto the battlefield of life completely unarmed, absorbing every hit because you forgot the weapon I placed in your hands. Pick up your sword. Speak my scriptures out loud in your bedroom, in your car, and in your quiet moments. There is explosive, undeniable power in the spoken word of God. Demons tremble when you align your mouth with my eternal promises. Meditate on my truth day and night. I want my promises to be the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing you ponder before you fall asleep. The world is trying to program your mind with fear, but I am calling you to reprogram your mind with faith. My promises remain steadfast through every single generation. What I did for David, I will do for you. What I did for Moses, I will do for you. I am the exact same God, and my authority has not diminished one bit. When my word truly takes root in the soil of your heart, a magnificent transformation occurs. You stop reacting to your circumstances with panic, and you start responding with power. You stand tall, grounded like a deeply rooted tree beside a raging river. The storms will come, the winds will blow, but you will not be moved because your foundation is built on the unbreakable rock of my eternal word. Get walking forward. Do not stop. I know it is incredibly dark right now. I know the valley you are walking through feels cold, isolating, and utterly terrifying. You look around and all you see are shadows. You feel the crushing weight of unfairness, the deep ache of a lost dream, and the sharp pain of a betrayal you never saw coming. You are asking me why I allowed this to happen. You are crying out in the night, wondering if I have forgotten your address. I have not forgotten you. I am closer to you right now, in the pitch black of this valley, than I ever was on the sunny mountaintops. I am right beside you, matching your every step. I allow the fire to touch your life not to destroy you, but to completely refine you. You are like raw gold, and the intense heat of this trial is burning away the impurities, the self-reliance, and the fragile dependencies you used to cling to. Lean your heavy frame on me. When your legs feel like they are going to buckle under the stress, I want you to lean entirely on my strength. My rod and my staff are here to comfort you and to guide you away from the dangerous cliffs. You are feeling the pain of the process, but I am entirely focused on the purpose. This valley is not your final destination. It is merely a passage. You do not set up a tent and live in the valley of shadows. You walk through it. I am leading you out. I know the terrain perfectly. Every single tear you have dropped on this dusty path has been collected by my hand. Nothing is wasted in my kingdom. The very struggle that feels like it is breaking you is actually the tool I am using to build a profound, unshakable resilience inside of you. Develop a faith that refuses to shatter when the heavy winds blow. I am teaching you how to trust me when you cannot trace my hand. Anyone can praise me when the bills are paid and the body is healthy. But a heart that whispers, "I trust you," while walking through the valley of the shadow of death, that is a heart that holds immense power. Do not let the darkness convince you that the sun has ceased to exist. Your current pain is temporary, but the glory I am producing in you is eternal. Take another deep breath. Take one more step. You do not have to see the whole staircase. You just have to hold on to my hand. I am guiding you through the shadows, and I absolutely promise you that we are walking toward a breathtaking, radiant dawn. Do not give up now. My child, as I actively lead you out of this terrifying valley of shadows, I ask you to look back at the millions who are still violently trapped in the pitch black. I am directly inviting you to hold the blazing torch with me to physically rescue those who are drowning in absolute despair. When you give to support this specific message, you are actively sowing brilliant fire into the darkest corners of the earth, pulling lost, exhausted souls right from the edge of the cliff. I declare over you right now, give, and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and completely running over into your lap. This is not a casual coincidence. This is your urgent, divine appointment to literally fund the harvest of broken hearts before the enemy destroys them. I promise that as you sacrifice today, I will supernaturally multiply your seed, fiercely protect your bank account, and flood your own path with radiant, unstoppable favor. I command you to partner with me right this minute by giving a super thanks, becoming a channel member, or using the PayPal link in the description. Step out in radical faith today and aggressively watch me open the heavy floodgates of heaven over your life. My child, do not dare close this out. If you walk away from my voice right now, right in the exact middle of your darkest valley, it breaks my heart. You are standing on the absolute, terrifying edge of a massive, miraculous breakthrough. To silence me now, to choose the loud distractions of the world over this holy encounter, would be a devastating surrender to the enemy's lies. Stay with me. Do not grieve the spirit that is actively, fiercely fighting for your life right now. The very next thing I am going to tell you holds the exact, ironclad key to your absolute freedom. Keep listening. Drop the heavy coat of shame you have been dragging around. I see you hiding from me. I see you pulling away, avoiding prayer, and avoiding my presence because you feel completely unworthy. You look at your mistakes, the habits you cannot seem to break, and the secret sins you carry, and you think you are too dirty to approach my throne. That is a lie from the pit of hell. I command you to step out of the shadows and step straight into my brilliant light. Stop waiting until you clean yourself up to come to me. You cannot clean yourself. That is my job. Repentance is not a cruel punishment. It is a beautiful, immediate homecoming. It is the simple, powerful act of turning around and running back into the arms of a Father who has been patiently waiting on the porch for you. Do not delay your return to me. Delay is the absolute enemy of your spiritual breakthrough. Every day you sit in your guilt is a day the enemy wins. Why are you choosing to sit in a muddy pit when I have prepared a royal banquet for you? Bring your mess to me right now. Bring your brokenness, your failures, and your deepest regrets. When you honestly confess your sins to me, I do not just tolerate you. I instantly and completely wash them away. I wash away that massive mountain of mistakes until you are whiter than freshly fallen snow. I remove the stain so completely that it is as if it never existed. I do not hold your past over your head. I do not keep a scorecard of your failures. When you ask for forgiveness, I throw your sins into the deepest part of the sea, and I place a no fishing sign on the shore. Celebrate the complete restoration of your joy. I want you to forgive yourself because I have already forgiven you. You are punishing yourself for a debt that my Son already paid in full on the cross. Accept this incredible gift. Let the heavy burden roll off your back. The moment your heart turns genuinely back to me, all of heaven throws a massive, joyful celebration. The angels rejoice over your single, beautiful decision to come home. I am putting a new robe of righteousness on your shoulders. I am putting a ring of authority on your finger. You are not a slave to your past mistakes. You are a deeply cherished son or daughter of the Most High God. Step back into the joy of your salvation. Lift your head high. You are clean. You are restored. You are fully mine again. Turn off the noise. I am commanding you to actively disconnect from the endless, chaotic shouting of the world around you. You are constantly surrounded by a million voices telling you what to do, who to be, and what to fear. You wake up and immediately look at a screen, flooding your mind with the opinions of strangers, the bad news of the day, and the toxic comparisons of social media. You listen to the conflicting advice of influencers, the heavy expectations of your family, and the loud, demanding pressures of your workplace. No wonder you feel completely lost. No wonder you cannot figure out what your next step should be. You are trying to hear my whisper in the middle of a screaming crowd. I want you to cultivate a quiet spirit. I want you to carve out intentional silence in your day, even if it is just 10 minutes in your car before you walk into your house. In that silence, I will begin to speak to you. You need to understand the profound difference between the world's clamor and my internal peace. The world's voice always drives you with panic, guilt, and a frantic sense of urgency. The world tells you that you are running out of time and that you are already falling behind. My voice never sounds like panic. I speak to you with a still, small voice that anchors your soul. Even when I am correcting you, my voice brings a deep, steadying peace. You must learn the marks of a true message from your Heavenly Father. When I am guiding you, the direction will always align perfectly with my written word. I will never tell you to hold on to bitterness. I will never tell you to operate in fear, and I will never tell you to compromise your integrity just to get ahead. I invite you to test the spirits around you. Test the thoughts that pop into your head. Ask yourself, does this thought bring me closer to fear, or does it bring me closer to faith? If it brings you anxiety, it is not from me. Reject it immediately. I have given you the Holy Spirit to act as your flawless internal compass. When you are about to make a wrong turn, you will feel that sudden check in your spirit, that deep, internal hesitation. That is me, gently pulling on the reins. Listen to that hesitation. Do not override it just because a decision looks good on paper or because everyone else is doing it. You must practice obedience in the small things, because obedience dramatically sharpens your spiritual hearing. When I tell you to apologize to someone, do it. When I tell you to turn off the television and sit with me, do it. Every single time you say yes to my gentle nudges, the static clears and my voice becomes incredibly loud and distinct in your life. Stop asking the crowd for directions to a destination they have never been to. Come to me. Sit in the quiet. I have the exact answers you are desperately searching for, but you have to stop moving long enough to actually hear me speak. Look directly at me. I want to dismantle every single ugly label the world has ever slapped on your forehead. You have spent years walking around wearing name tags that I never gave you. You call yourself unwanted, a failure, too old, too damaged, or not smart enough. You have internalized the cruel things people have said about you, and you have let those lies build a prison around your mind. I am shattering those labels right now. You must completely reject the identity that your past, your mistakes, or your critics have tried to force upon you. When you look in the mirror and criticize your reflection, you are criticizing my personal craftsmanship. You are entirely made in my image. I formed you with intentional, breathtaking purpose. I did not mass-produce you on an assembly line. I handcrafted every single detail of your personality, your quirks, and your passions. I am calling you to step into the reality of your royal heritage. You are not a spiritual orphan begging for scraps of love and attention. You are a direct heir to the kingdom of heaven. I want you to start walking into your office, your home, and your difficult situations with the quiet, unshakable confidence of a king or a queen. Stop shrinking back to make other people comfortable. Stop apologizing for taking up space. I want you to aggressively replace your toxic self-criticism with my divine affirmation. Every time your mind tells you that you are worthless, I command you to open your mouth and declare, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am fiercely loved by the Creator of the universe. You think you have to be strong and flawless for me to use you, but I am telling you that there is immense, undeniable strength found in admitting your weakness to me. Bring me your inadequacies. Bring me your insecurities. When you are weak, that is exactly when my power rests heavily upon you. I do not need your perfection. I only need your surrender. You are a completely new creation. The old version of you, the one bound by addiction, crippled by people-pleasing, and trapped in self-hatred, has passed away. That old person is dead and buried. You not go digging up the corpse of your past. Live out your new identity today. When the enemy tries to remind you of your history, you remind him of your future. You are my beloved child. Your worth is not determined by your bank account, your relationship status, or your job title. Your worth was settled forever by the blood of my Son on the cross. Accept your true name today, and refuse to ever answer to the world's degrading insults again. I know exactly why you are frustrated right now. I see the tears of absolute disappointment you have cried over the prayers you think I ignored. You asked me to save that relationship, but it ended in heartbreak. You begged me for that specific job, but the door slammed completely shut in your face. You have been praying for a particular situation to change, and the silence from heaven feels heavy, cold, and incredibly cruel. I want you to stop and listen to me very carefully. You must learn to deeply trust my no and my wait as the fiercest forms of my protection. You are standing on the ground, looking through a tiny keyhole at your life. You only see this one isolated moment, this one painful rejection. But I am standing above time. I see the entire map from the beginning straight through to the glorious end. I'm closing doors right now because I know what is hiding behind them. I refused to let you marry that person because I saw the secret destruction it would bring into your life a decade from now. I kept you from getting that promotion because I knew that environment would completely crush your spirit and pull you away from me. There are massive, hidden blessings in the things I have withheld from you. I love you way too much to give you everything you ask for. I am like a loving parent snatching a toddler's hand away from a burning hot stove. You are crying because you wanted to touch the fire, but I am holding you back to save your life. I am inviting you to completely align your will with my sovereign, perfect plan. Stop fighting my direction. Stop trying to kick down the doors that I have securely locked for your safety. I want you to recognize the profound growth that is happening in your seasons of silence. When I am quiet, it does not mean I am absent. A teacher is always quiet during a test. I am using this waiting period to stretch your faith, to burn away your impatience, and to teach you how to rely solely on me. The roots of a tree grow the deepest during the harsh, dry seasons when they have to reach far underground to find water. This dry season is forcing your roots to wrap tightly around my presence. I command you to believe, even when your heart is broken, that I am actively working all things together for your ultimate, magnificent good. The story is not over yet. One day, you will look back at this exact moment, at this exact unanswered prayer, and you will weep with profound gratitude for the bullet I allowed you to dodge. Trust my absolute sovereignty. I have something so much better prepared for you. Stand up and look at the history of your family. I see the heavy, toxic baggage that has been handed down to you, generation after generation. I see the explosive anger you inherited from your father. I see the crippling anxiety passed down from your mother. I see the deep roots of addiction, the sharp weapons of the silent treatment, the poverty mindsets, and the bitter resentments that have poisoned your bloodline for decades. You have been told that it's just the way our family is. I am telling you today that it absolutely stops right here, right now, with you. I am giving you the direct authority and the explosive power to stop the sins of the fathers from infecting your children. You are not destined to repeat the catastrophic mistakes of your parents. I have called you to be the chain breaker in your lineage. Healing this broken lineage begins with your radical decision to follow me completely. You must do the hardest thing I will ever ask of you. You must totally forgive the people who hurt you, the people who failed to protect you, and the people who never even bothered to say they were sorry. I know the profound damage they caused. I know the nights you cried yourself to sleep feeling entirely unprotected. But holding on to that fiery resentment is like drinking deadly poison and expecting the other person to die. I command you to spit the poison out. Release them into my hands. Let me be the righteous judge. When you choose to forgive, you dramatically sever the dark spiritual cords that tie you to their dysfunction. You violently break the spiritual strongholds that have bound your family in darkness for years. You are setting a brand new standard of holiness, peace, and emotional health for your home. You are shifting the entire trajectory of your bloodline. Because of your brave obedience today, your children will not have to fight the same dark demons you are fighting. Your grandchildren will inherit a legacy of intense blessing, emotional stability, and spiritual fruitfulness instead of a legacy of trauma and screaming matches. It takes immense, agonizing strength to be the one who finally breaks the cycle. It will be uncomfortable. It will require you to react differently when you are provoked. But I am pouring my supernatural strength into your veins right now. Step out of the familiar, comfortable dysfunction. Step aggressively into the light. You are completely rewriting the history of your family through the blood of my Son, and heaven is standing and cheering for your incredible courage. You have boldly chosen to break the heavy chains of generational hurt today, and now I am explicitly asking you to be the chain breaker for someone else's bloodline. There are souls violently bound by the exact same toxic trauma you just escaped, desperately crying out in the night for the living truth that will set them completely free. I am personally inviting you to partner with me right now to release a massive, unstoppable river of living water across the nations. Every financial seed you faithfully sow into this ministry becomes a heavy spiritual hammer, physically shattering the iron shackles holding another family hostage in the dark. This is a prophetic hour of massive liberation, and your generous, immediate sacrifice is desperately needed to broadcast this rescue mission to the ends of the earth. I promise that as you actively fund the freedom of others, I will violently protect your household and release an explosive blessing of wealth over your children for 1,000 generations. I command you to take massive action right now by giving a super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing your seed through the PayPal link in the description. Plant your seed of total freedom today, and watch me multiply your legacy forever. Do not pause this. Do not walk away. We have just violently shattered the heavy, generational chains holding your family back, but the enemy is furiously plotting his counterattack. It absolutely shatters my heart when my children experience a profound taste of victory and then immediately wander back into the noise, leaving themselves entirely unarmed. I have so much more to give you. If you stop listening now, you are deliberately walking onto a deadly spiritual battlefield completely blindfolded. Honor my voice today. Stay right here with me because what I am about to reveal will make you completely untouchable. I see the invisible snares the enemy is constantly setting in your path. I know exactly when you are most vulnerable. The enemy studies you. He knows that when you are physically exhausted, emotionally drained, or deeply lonely, you are most likely to search for a cheap, destructive escape. I see the urge to reach for the bottle to numb the stress of the day. I see the pull to open that website late at night to find a fleeting moment of comfort. I see the temptation to lash out in pure rage when you are backed into a corner, or to text that toxic person just so you don't have to feel alone. I am not condemning you for being tempted. I am stepping in to give you the exact strategy to defeat it. I have given you a concrete, ironclad promise. No matter how intense the pressure gets, I will absolutely always provide a way of escape for you. You are never, ever trapped. You must proactively put on the full armor of God every single morning before your feet even hit the floor. This is not a metaphor. It is a tactical military strategy for your mind. Put on the belt of truth to hold your life together when lies are flying at you. Fasten the breastplate of righteousness to fiercely protect your heart from the crushing weight of guilt. Take up the heavy shield of faith to block the flaming arrows of panic and doubt your boss, your spouse, or your own mind fires at you. You can't walk out of your front door naked into a spiritual war zone and expect to survive the day. I am commanding you to actively flee from the lusts and the fleeting, empty comforts of this world. Fleeing does not make you a coward. It makes you incredibly wise. Do not sit on the edge of the cliff and see how close you can get without falling. Run in the opposite direction. I want you to find your complete, absolute satisfaction in me so that the shiny, fake promises of the world completely lose their luster. When your soul is deeply fed by my presence, the junk food of sin tastes like ash in your mouth. You do not have to fight temptation with merely your own exhausted willpower. Willpower will always eventually snap under pressure. You fight temptation by resting in the massive victory that has already been won for you through Christ's bloody triumph on the cross. The chains of that bad habit have already been broken. You just have to stop picking the locks to put them back on yourself. Declare out loud that you are free. When the urge hits, do not negotiate with it. Call on my name immediately. I will rush in with a flood of grace, fortify your tired mind, and give you the sheer, raw strength to stand up, turn around, and walk straight into victory. Open your mouth and speak. You have been silent about your past for way too long. You look at the deep scars on your heart, and you feel nothing but intense, suffocating shame. You genuinely think your past mistakes, your moral failures, and your long seasons of wandering completely disqualify you from being used by me. I am telling you today that your greatest, ugliest struggles are about to become your absolute greatest weapon. I want you to completely understand the raw, undeniable power of your personal testimony. Your specific story of surviving the dark is meant to be a blazing beacon for someone else who is currently drowning in the exact same darkness. I did not pull you out of the muddy, miserable pit just so you could sit comfortably on the edge and keep quiet. I violently rescued you so you could turn around, reach your hand down, and pull someone else up. You have survived things that should have completely destroyed your mind and body. You are still breathing today because I intentionally preserved your life for a specific, holy purpose. Look at the courtroom of your mind right now. The accuser stands there day and night, pointing his ugly finger at you, reminding you of every single sin you ever committed in secret. He aggressively whispers that you are a total hypocrite and that you have absolutely no right to speak my holy name. I command you to completely silence the accuser this very minute. You overcome his loud lies by the perfect blood of the Lamb and by the bold word of your own testimony. When you openly and honestly share what I have done in your life, you instantly strip the enemy of his greatest weapon against you, secrecy. The devil strictly operates in the dark shadows of shame, but your honest vulnerability brings everything into my blazing, cleansing light. Speak up about how I held your hand through that horrible depression. Tell your close friends how I broke your secret addiction. Share the real story of how I met you on your bathroom floor when you were entirely ready to give up on life. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a terrifying, magnificent display of my supernatural power. Find deep, eternal purpose in the scars you thought were entirely useless. Scars are just permanent proof that a deep wound has completely healed. When Thomas doubted my resurrection, I did not show him a perfect, unblemished body. I specifically showed him my scars. My scars proved that I had absolutely survived the cross, and your scars prove that you have absolutely survived your darkest, lowest valleys. I am explicitly calling you to encourage the body of Christ by simply being real. People do not need to hear another perfect, polished, fake story of easy success. They are absolutely desperate to hear a raw, gritty, honest story of a spectacular rescue. They need to know that if I can fix your absolute mess, I can definitely fix their mess too. Your breakthrough was never just for your own comfort. Your healing is the exact medicine someone else is desperately waiting for. Open your mouth today. Tell your story without any shame. Watch how your painful, messy history becomes a magnificent, life-saving tool for my glory. Proclaim your joy right this minute. I am commanding you to aggressively take back the deep spiritual gladness that this loud world has slowly drained out of you. You have been settling for cheap, fleeting happiness, and it is leaving your soul entirely empty and starving. You try to buy happiness with new online purchases. You try to find it by scrolling endlessly on your phone for a quick hit of dopamine. And you desperately try to capture it in the temporary approval of other people. But that kind of happiness is just a cheap, flimsy substitute that depends completely on your current, changing circumstances. If the day goes well, you are happy. If the day goes bad, you are entirely crushed. I am offering you something infinitely deeper and far more powerful. I am offering you my lasting, unshakable joy. My divine joy is a heavy iron anchor that holds your soul perfectly steady even when your entire world is violently spinning out of control. Praise me loud and clear even when your circumstances look incredibly bleak. I know it sounds entirely backward to normal human logic. You are wondering how you can possibly sing a genuine song of praise when your bank account is empty, your heart is completely broken, or your physical body is in deep, chronic pain. I am telling you that praise is a highly effective military weapon. When you lift your hands and actively thank me right in the middle of a massive, terrifying storm, you completely confuse the enemy. You prove to the spiritual realm that your faith is not attached to your physical comfort. Your faith is securely attached to my eternal, unchanging character. I will personally pour the thick, sweet oil of gladness over your head, completely replacing the heavy, suffocating spirit of despair you have been wearing like a wet blanket. You do not have to wait for the dark storm to pass to start dancing. I want you to dance right now, right in the pouring rain, because you absolutely know I am the one controlling the clouds. Laugh at the hard days to come. You have spent entirely too much time dreading your future. You look at tomorrow and feel a tight, painful knot of panic in your stomach. I command you to let go of that paralyzing dread right now. I already hold your entire future completely in the palm of my hand. There is absolutely nothing coming your way that I have not already prepared you for. When you truly grasp the massive magnitude of my protection over your life, fear completely loses its tight grip on your throat. You can actually smile at the great unknown because you personally know the one who controls it. I want you to build immense, bulletproof strength through a heart full of radical gratitude. Start intentionally thanking me for the very small things: the breath filling your lungs, the sturdy roof over your head, the simple sun shining through your window. Gratitude immediately shifts your brain's focus from what you are currently missing to what I have already graciously provided. Protect your peace aggressively and without apology. There are toxic people and chaotic situations entirely designed by the enemy to steal your joy. They bring petty drama, vicious gossip, and constant, draining negativity directly into your personal space. I am giving you the clear permission and the divine authority to set firm, unapologetic boundaries. You absolutely do not have to attend every single argument you are invited to. You do not have to quietly absorb the toxic, heavy energy of those who refuse to seek my light. Guard your heart with absolute vigilance, for it is the very wellspring of your actual life. Keep your eyes firmly and constantly fixed on me. Let my joy bubble up inside of your chest like an unstoppable, refreshing spring. You are my beloved child, and you are meant to live a daily life marked by a deep, radiant, and highly contagious joy. Smile today. The battle is already completely won. Step completely out of your comfortable safety zone today. I am firmly calling you to a life of radical, uncompromising, immediate obedience. You have been playing it incredibly safe for way too long. You actively practice a selective kind of following, where you happily obey my commands when they are easy, financially convenient, and make perfect sense to your logical mind. But the exact moment I ask you to do something uncomfortable, you instantly hesitate. You say, maybe later, or let me think about it. I'm telling you directly that delayed obedience is absolutely still disobedience. I want your total, unconditional, absolute surrender. I want you to willingly hand over the keys to every single room in your heart, not just the front rooms you keep clean for company. Let me directly into the messy rooms, the dark hidden corners, and the securely locked closets. When you say a fast, unhesitating yes to my voice, you instantly unlock a massive floodgate of divine blessings in your everyday life. Understand deeply that my commands are never, ever meant to restrict your joy. They are strong protective boundaries built purely out of my fierce, fatherly love for you. When I tell you to permanently walk away from a certain relationship, it is because I clearly see the hidden poison that will eventually destroy your peace. When I tell you to forcefully stop engaging in a particular bad habit, it is because I desperately want to set you entirely free from heavy iron chains you cannot even see yet. You honestly think I am trying to ruin your fun, but I am actually trying to save your literal life. I know it takes immense, terrifying courage to walk exactly where I lead you, especially when the path makes absolutely no sense to the normal people around you. Your coworkers might call you crazy. Your family might not understand your bold choices. But you are absolutely not living for their cheap applause. You are living entirely for my eternal well done. Sacrifice your temporary physical comfort for the sake of my eternal gospel. The whole world passionately worships comfort, easy living, and avoiding pain at all absolute costs. But I have specifically called you to carry a cross, not a soft cushion. I am boldly asking you to have the tough, awkward conversations, to give generously even when it hurts your tight budget, and to love the deeply unlovable people that everyone else completely walks away from. This specific kind of radical obedience requires you to completely put to death your own selfish, earthly desires. It will absolutely cost you something real. It will painfully stretch you. But I absolutely promise you right now that what you willingly give up is practically nothing compared to what I will directly pour back into your life. You cannot ever outgive me, and you cannot ever out-sacrifice me. Find deep, unshakable intimacy in the quiet, secret place of your obedience. There is a very specific kind of closeness with me that you can only ever experience when you step completely out of the boat and actually walk on the water. When you take the terrifying, illogical leap of faith, you instantly realize that my hands are right there to catch your fall. Your faith becomes incredibly real, firmly grounded, and entirely personal. I am personally inviting you into the deep, unknown waters of trust today. Stop constantly debating with my clear instructions. Stop trying to figure out the absolute end of the story before you take the very first step. Just say yes. Say yes to me right now, out loud. I am actively leading you toward a magnificent, purposeful destiny, but you have to actually move your feet to get there. Follow me blindly today, and I will thoroughly open your eyes to wonders you never even imagined. Open your eyes right now and really look at the regular world right in front of you. I am telling you that the fields are completely white and urgently ready for harvest. You walk casually past broken, severely hurting, and totally desperate people every single day of your life. You literally see the grocery cashier with the tired, crying eyes, the stressed coworker hiding a massive depression behind a fake office smile, and the quiet neighbor whose marriage is secretly falling apart behind closed doors. You mistakenly think some other professional is going to help them. You assume a pastor or a trained counselor will step in and do the job. I am pointing my finger directly at you. I have intentionally chosen you for this specific, critical role in my Great Commission. You are my literal hands. You are my actual feet, and you are my direct voice in your workplace, in your school, and in your daily neighborhood. Do not ever wait for a perfectly scripted moment to share my love, because the perfect moment is happening right now. The ticking urgency of this exact hour is incredibly real, and regular people are absolutely starving for the living truth that you quietly hold in your heart. Equip your heart right now with a deep, radical, world-changing compassion for the lost. I want you to look at the highly difficult, annoying people in your life exclusively through my eyes. The exact person who irritates you the most is usually the person who is hurting the deepest inside. Instead of harshly judging their toxic, bad behavior, I strictly command you to pray fervently for their broken, bleeding soul. Ask me right now to break your heart for the exact things that completely break mine. When you are truly filled with my genuine, burning compassion, your social fear entirely disappears. You instantly stop worrying about looking awkward or being socially rejected because your mind is entirely focused on saving a violently drowning soul. I am directly calling you to boldly step into the messy, highly uncomfortable lives of the hurting people around you. You absolutely do not need a fancy theology degree to lead a broken person to my heart. You just need to be completely willing to sit quietly with them in their messy pain and gently point them toward my glorious, healing light. So tiny, powerful seeds of truth in every single everyday conversation you have. You definitely do not have to preach a loud, hour-long public sermon to make a massive impact. I simply want you to plant small, powerful seeds. Tell a stressed coworker that you are genuinely praying for their sick child. Tell a lonely friend that I fiercely love them when they feel like a total failure. Offer a gentle, surprising word of hope when absolutely everyone else is loudly complaining about the terrible state of the world. You are simply scattering the tiny seeds on the ground. I am the exact one who will make them miraculously grow. You might never, ever see the final, beautiful result of the seed you casually planted today, but I absolutely promise you that my word never, ever returns entirely empty. It actively accomplishes exactly what I specifically sent it to do. Your small, faithful obedience sets off a massive, unstoppable chain reaction in the unseen spiritual realm. Claim the incredible, eternal reward for those who actively lead many to righteousness. I personally see every single small effort you make. I clearly hear every quiet, desperate prayer you pray for your lost, stubborn family members. Do not ever give up on them. You just keep planting, you keep watering, and you keep loving them completely unconditionally. I am actively, aggressively working behind the scenes right now, softening their hard hearts and opening their spiritually blind eyes. The end times are rapidly drawing near, and the window of time is closing fast. I urgently need you completely awake, entirely sober, and fully engaged in this ultimate, high-stakes rescue mission. There is a glorious, shining, eternal crown actively waiting for those who help populate heaven. Wake up today. Look carefully around you. The harvest is absolutely massive, and I am sending you straight into the fields right now. I have just shown you that the fields are completely white and urgently ready for harvest, but the laborers are still incredibly few. I am personally calling you to fund this ultimate great commission and equip the reapers to aggressively gather the lost before time entirely runs out. Your financial gift today is the very seed of wheat that will miraculously grow into a massive, eternal harvest of completely transformed souls. I strongly decree over your life right now, he who wins souls is incredibly wise, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine brightly like the stars forever. The ticking, terrifying urgency of this exact hour demands radical action. You absolutely cannot afford to wait while the window of grace rapidly closes on a starving world. As you faithfully sow your resources into my kingdom today, I will absolutely command 100-fold return, filling your physical barns to overflowing and completely breaking the dark spirit of poverty off your life. I strictly command you to join this divine harvest right now by sending a super thanks, becoming a member, or clicking the PayPal link in the description to sow your urgent seed. Listen to me closely. Do not let your tired mind wander, and do not you dare turn this off. I am actively pouring out the deepest, most sacred secrets of my kingdom directly into your spirit. It deeply wounds my heart when I am in the middle of outfitting you for a massive, holy destiny, and you let a cheap, temporary distraction steal your precious attention. You are far too important to my eternal plan to just stop halfway. I am about to directly unlock the exact strategy for your massive financial and spiritual provision. Do not disappoint my heart by carelessly walking away from your own inheritance. Listen to the end. Look directly at your finances today and listen closely to my voice. I deeply see the heavy, suffocating anxiety you feel in your chest every single time you look at your bank account balance, open a new bill, or go to buy basic groceries. You intensely feel the crushing pressure of rising prices, and you constantly wonder how you are going to stretch your incredibly thin paycheck to cover it all. You are carrying a massive, crushing weight of financial fear, and I am strictly commanding you to drop it on the floor right now. I am your absolute provider. I literally own the cattle on 1,000 hills. Every ounce of gold and all the silver in the entire universe belong entirely to me. The shifting economy of your country absolutely does not dictate your survival. My heavenly, flawless economy dictates your total, daily provision. I want you to permanently break the paralyzing spirit of poverty and lack that has wrapped so tightly around your mind. You mistakenly think that holding on tightly to every single penny will magically save you. But a closed, tight, greedy fist absolutely cannot receive anything new from my hand. I aggressively invite you to radically trust me through your faithful, cheerful giving and tithing. I know it logically makes absolutely no sense to your brain to give away a portion of your hard-earned money when you feel like you barely have enough to survive the week. But my kingdom operates entirely on faith, not on basic human math. When you faithfully give back the first portion of what I have already blessed you with, you are making a bold, powerful, spiritual declaration. You are loudly telling the world and the enemy, my corporate job is not my provider. My God is my absolute, only provider. You are actively tearing down the false idol of money in your heart. I genuinely want you to test me in this. Open your tight hands right now. Become a cheerful, outrageously generous giver. I absolutely do not need your physical money, but I desperately, passionately want your whole, undivided heart. When you actually trust me with your daily finances, I will completely rebuke the devourer for your personal sake. I will absolutely, supernaturally multiply your small loaves and fishes to feed you in ways that will completely blow your human mind. Seek my kingdom first, and aggressively watch how every single other thing is added to your daily life. You spend entirely too much time obsessing over how to get more money, how to get a better house, and how to securely pad your future. I am specifically commanding you to completely shift your daily focus. Pursue my presence, pursue my righteousness, and passionately pursue helping others. When you make my divine business your top priority, I will personally make your physical business my top priority. I will fling open specific, massive doors of opportunity that no human boss could ever open. I will hand you divine, unmerited favor at your current workplace. I will send unexpected, shocking financial blessings directly into your lap. But you absolutely must put me first, totally and without any compromise. You cannot simultaneously serve both God and money. You have to actively choose exactly who you are going to trust today. Exercise divine, careful wisdom in managing the exact resources I have currently entrusted to you. I have called you to be a highly wise, diligent financial steward. Stop wasting money on flashy things that do not satisfy your soul just to quickly impress people who do not even actually care about you. Create a strict budget, aggressively fight to get out of crushing debt, and live below your actual means so that you can freely, joyfully give to others in real need. I deeply want to bless you abundantly, not so you can selfishly build a bigger personal empire, but strictly so you can be a massive, flowing river of blessing to the hurting, hungry world around you. Trust me with the numbers today. Hand me your deep financial fears, your outstanding debts, and your physical wallet. I am El Shaddai, the absolute God of more than enough. Walk in complete financial confidence today, completely knowing that your Heavenly Father has already provided for every single thing you will ever actually need. Look closely at the shattered pieces of your relationships today. I see the deep, bleeding cuts left by the people you trusted the most. I see the heavy silence between you and that family member you have not spoken to in years. I see the painful rift between you and the friend who completely walked away when you needed them the absolute most. You are carrying a massive, heavy box of resentment, and you honestly think that keeping your distance will protect your fragile heart. I am commanding you to set that heavy box down right now. I have specifically called you to the massive, beautiful ministry of reconciliation. This is not just a nice suggestion. It is a direct reflection of my own beating heart. I completely forgave you when you were still rebelling against me. I actively pursued you when you were running fiercely in the opposite direction. I am absolutely asking you to step up and boldly mirror that exact same unconditional love to the broken people around you. I know your human mind violently fights against this command. You are loudly asking me how you can possibly love your enemies and pray for the exact people who actively persecute you. You want justice. You want them to finally admit that they were totally wrong. But I am telling you that demanding an apology will never, ever heal your deep wounds. I want you to start praying for them today. Pray for their hidden pain, because hurting people are always the ones who hurt other people. When you intentionally pray for your absolute worst enemy, a profound, shocking miracle happens inside your own chest. The hard, icy bitterness begins to completely melt away. The heavy chains of anger snap right off your wrists. Healing the deep rift between friends and family members requires an immense, terrifying amount of humility. It requires you to be the brave one who sends the first text message. It requires you to be the strong one who makes the first phone call, simply to seek peace. Set incredibly healthy boundaries while fiercely maintaining a soft, loving spirit. I am not ever asking you to be a helpless doormat for someone else's toxic, abusive behavior. I am not telling you to blindly put yourself back into physical or emotional danger. You can absolutely love someone deeply from a safe distance. You can completely forgive someone without inviting them to sit at your kitchen table every single day. The true goal is the complete purification of your own heart. Release the heavy, exhausting burden of holding grudges. Stop constantly trying to play the judge and jury in their life. I am the only righteous judge. Let me handle their consequences. Let me balance the scales of justice. Your only job is to remain a bright, shining witness of my radical grace. Open your hands right now and release them entirely to me. Experience the breathtaking, incredibly light freedom that comes when you finally decide to just let it go. Open your spiritual eyes right now and look entirely past your physical circumstances. You are heavily engaged in a massive, violent war, but you are completely swinging your sword at the wrong enemy. You honestly think your true enemy is your difficult boss, your argumentative spouse, the loud politicians on the television, or the neighbor who constantly annoys you. I am directly telling you that your actual struggle is absolutely never against flesh and blood. The human beings who frustrate you are merely the physical pawns in a much darker, invisible, spiritual battle. There are dark, unseen forces actively plotting to destroy your deep peace, ruin your healthy marriage, and completely steal your divine purpose. I want you to wake up and recognize the highly subtle, deceptive tactics of the enemy. He does not always come dressed in obvious horror. He usually comes dressed as a simple distraction, a sudden wave of extreme fatigue, or a quiet, poisonous whisper of self-doubt. Stand completely firm in the absolute authority I have permanently given you. I firmly command you to start binding the destructive works of darkness in the powerful name above all absolute names, the name of Jesus. You are definitely not a helpless civilian trapped in a war zone. You are a fully armed, highly trained soldier of the Most High God. When the enemy directly whispers that you are entirely alone and that your situation is completely hopeless, I want you to loudly laugh in his face. You open your mouth and you declare my eternal truth over your home, your children, and your mind. There is explosive, undeniable power in your persistent, fervent prayer. When you pray in the Spirit, you are directly launching massive spiritual missiles into the enemy's camp. You are actively tearing down ancient, heavy strongholds that have stood for generations. Stop fighting this massive battle in your own weak, exhausted human strength. You keep trying to outsmart the darkness with your limited logic, and that is exactly why you feel so incredibly drained. I am directly pulling back the curtain today so you can see the absolute reality of my massive, fiery warrior angels currently encamped around your physical house. You are fiercely guarded. You are totally protected on every single side. The exact moment you drop to your knees in desperate, honest prayer, all of heaven stands at complete attention. Do not let the deceptive shadows intimidate you for one more second. The enemy violently shakes in terror when he sees you finally recognize your true royal authority. Pick up your heavy spiritual weapons today. Stand your ground boldly. You fight from a place of absolute, guaranteed victory, because the ultimate war has already been completely won by my blood. Stop working. Right now, I command you to completely put down your tools, close your laptop, and turn off the endless hustle. You are violently running yourself into an early grave, and you proudly call it dedication. You actually brag about how little sleep you get and how incredibly busy your schedule is. I'm telling you that this constant, breathless running is an absolute insult to the perfect rhythm I created for your life. I specifically designed you to need deep, restorative rest. The divine rhythm of hard work and holy cessation is not an outdated suggestion. It is a strict, life-saving commandment. I commanded the Sabbath rest because I absolutely know that if you do not intentionally stop, the loud, demanding world will completely consume your soul. You are treating your physical body like a cheap rented machine, entirely forgetting that it is the sacred, holy temple of my living spirit. Honor your fragile body and your tired mind by actively choosing to stop. I want you to fully understand why I instituted this day of rest. It is completely designed to forcefully pull your attention away from your stressful bills, your demanding career, and your endless chores, and to focus your heart entirely back on me. When you refuse to take a day of rest, you are loudly declaring that you think the world will literally fall apart if you do not hold it together. That is pure, blinding pride. I am the one actively holding the universe together, not you. I invite you to aggressively let go of the toxic hustle culture that tells you your personal worth is strictly tied to your daily productivity. You do not have to earn my love by constantly doing things for me. I just desperately want you to simply be with me. Find deep, miraculous renewal in the quiet presence of your Father. I want you to carve out one complete day where you absolutely do not answer work emails, you do not stress over your bank account, and you do not try to fix anyone else's dramatic problems. Let your heavy shoulders finally drop. Take a long, deep walk outside. Sleep without setting a blaring alarm. Eat a good meal slowly. In that intentional, radical stillness, I will give you massive spiritual clarity. I will solve the incredibly complex problems you have been stressing over all week, not while you are frantically working, but exactly while you are peacefully resting in my arms. Trust my absolute sovereignty enough to take a break. Your work will be deeply blessed and highly multiplied when you finally learn the holy, forgotten art of actually resting. Wait for me. I know this is the absolute hardest command I will ever give you. You are currently standing in the incredibly uncomfortable, frustrating hallway of life. One massive door has completely closed behind you, and the next door is not yet opened. You are anxiously jiggling the handle, trying to aggressively force the new door open with your own human strength. Stop forcing it. I am actively commanding you to develop the deep, quiet patience that produces unbreakable character. You live in a fast food world that expects instant, immediate results. But I am entirely in the business of growing massive, ancient oak trees, and that takes serious time. You mistakenly think my current delay is a direct denial of your prayers. You think I am punishing you. I am directly telling you that my delays are very often my absolute greatest acts of mercy and protection. Do not make the massive Ishmael mistake of trying to forcefully help me out. When Abraham grew terribly impatient with my promise, he tried to create the blessing using his own human logic, and it brought decades of intense, unnecessary pain. I see you desperately trying to manipulate your current circumstances. You are trying to force that specific relationship to work. You are trying to kick down that career door because you are terrified I have completely forgotten about you. I have absolutely not forgotten you. I am directly asking you to find real, solid strength in hoping and trusting during the painful in-between. This dark, confusing waiting room is exactly where your genuine faith is violently refined. Anyone can easily trust me when the specific blessing is placed right in their hands. But staring at an empty hand and loudly declaring, "I still absolutely trust you, Lord," that is the kind of raw faith that moves massive mountains. Refine your heart while you stand in this quiet hallway. I am actively using this very specific delay to carefully prepare you for the massive weight of the blessing that is coming. If I handed you the heavy blessing right now, your weak, unprepared character would completely collapse under the intense pressure of it. I love you way too much to give you the exact right thing at the exact wrong time. The absolute certainty of my promise does not ever expire just because the clock is ticking. I will absolutely act when the precise, perfect time is right. Take a deep, calming breath. Take your anxious hands entirely off the steering wheel. Sit down in the waiting room, open my word, and let my profound peace completely wash over your racing, terrified mind. Your massive breakthrough is securely on the calendar. You just have to patiently wait for the date. As you patiently stand in the hallway waiting on my perfect timing, I am directly asking you to completely accelerate a massive breakthrough for someone else who is entirely losing hope. I am explicitly inviting you to pour out your precious oil to keep this blazing beacon of truth burning loudly in a desperately dark, lonely world. When you faithfully sow financially into this message, you are physically sending fresh, miraculous manna to starving souls who are crying out for a single word of divine encouragement. I firmly declare over your finances today, whoever generously refreshes others will themselves be supernaturally refreshed by my own mighty hand. This is your urgent, prophetic appointment to move from simply waiting for your miracle to actively, boldly funding one for someone else. In return for your faithful sacrifice, I will aggressively open the massive windows of heaven and pour out a financial blessing so heavy and abundant that you will not have enough room to contain it. Do not hesitate for 1 second. I command you to release your seed right now through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link completely waiting for you in the description. We are in the final, most absolutely crucial moments of this divine encounter. Do not click away. Do not look at your clock. If you abandon this holy conversation right now, just moments before I permanently seal my eternal promise over your life, it would bring immense, heavy sorrow to my heart. You have waited so incredibly long in the quiet, frustrating hallway of life. Do not walk out the front door right before I hand you the master keys to the kingdom. Honor this sacred stillness. Lean in closer. What I am about to speak over your life is the absolute climax of your entire spiritual rescue. Stay with me. Get down on your knees. I am speaking directly to your ego today. You live in a loud, flashy world that constantly screams at you to aggressively promote yourself, to fight viciously for your own rights, and to make absolutely sure everyone knows exactly how important and smart you are. You spend so much exhausting energy trying to perfectly curate your public image, defending your fragile reputation, and proving to strangers on the internet that you are successful. I firmly command you to strip off that heavy, suffocating armor of pride right now. I actively resist the proud, but I pour out massive, overflowing grace to the humble. Pride is a thick, dark blindfold. It completely blinds you to the very help you desperately need. When you think you know everything, you instantly stop listening to my gentle guidance. When you think you are totally self-sufficient, you instantly cut yourself off from my miraculous provision. Lower yourself entirely so that I may properly exalt you in my perfect time. I want you to intensely mirror the beautiful, gentle heart of my Son. He was the absolute king of the entire universe, yet he intentionally got down on his knees in the dirt to wash the filthy feet of his friends. He completely surrendered his massive ego to serve broken people. I am directly calling you to that exact same radical posture of service. Stop walking into the room constantly wondering what other people can do for you. Start walking into the room actively asking me how you can quietly serve the people sitting around you. There is an incredibly profound, breathtaking freedom found in absolutely not having to prove yourself to ordinary men anymore. When you finally stop aggressively competing with everyone else, a massive, heavy weight falls right off your tired shoulders. Find your absolute, unbreakable security in the firm knowledge that your high worth is permanently settled in heaven. You definitely do not need the cheap, fleeting applause of your coworkers, your family, or the general public. You already have a standing ovation from the Creator of the universe. When you are deeply, securely rooted in my unconditional love, you can easily handle insults without violently fighting back. You can completely celebrate the success of your peers without feeling a tiny drop of bitter jealousy. You can easily admit when you are totally wrong without feeling like your whole world is collapsing. I invite you to put on the beautiful, lightweight armor of true humility today. Stop trying to climb the shaky, dangerous ladder of human success. Step down, take my hand, and let me personally lift you up to heights you could never, ever reach on your own. Look closely at what you are chasing every single day. I see you running yourself completely ragged trying to build a bigger bank account, secure a higher job title, and collect the shiny things that this world loudly tells you are important. You are pouring your precious, limited energy into chasing temporary riches, but you are completely starving your soul of the one thing that will actually sustain you: my divine wisdom. You live in a profoundly confusing, highly deceptive world. Every time you open your phone, 100 different voices scream at you, offering you fake shortcuts to success, toxic relationship advice, and empty spiritual promises. It is a thick, blinding fog of human opinions, and you are trying to navigate through it using your own limited sight. I command you to stop searching for answers in the loud noise of the crowd. I am calling you to seek a deeply discerning heart above absolutely everything else. You need my wisdom to survive the traps the enemy has carefully hidden in your daily path. Ask me for wisdom right now. My word clearly promises that if you simply ask me for wisdom, I will give it to you liberally, generously, and without any reproach. I will never make you feel stupid for not knowing what to do. I will never mock your confusion. I am your loving Father, and I am entirely eager to give you the exact blueprint for your life. But you have to actually ask me before you make the massive decisions. You constantly buy the house, take the job, or enter the relationship, and then you come crying to me when it all falls completely apart, asking me to bless a mess I never told you to make. I want you to start consulting me first. Before you sign that contract, before you send that angry email, and before you commit your time to that new project, sit in the quiet and ask for my perfect counsel. The immense difference between worldly knowledge and my divine insight is that worldly knowledge only tells you how to make a living, but my divine insight teaches you how to actually make a life. Apply my eternal principles to your everyday, ordinary decisions. Wisdom is not some cloudy, mystical concept reserved for deep theologians. It is incredibly practical. It is the raw power to know when to speak up and when to keep your mouth completely shut. It is the profound ability to clearly see the hidden motives of the people around you. When you actively choose my wisdom, it always leads you straight into paths of deep peace and lasting honor. You will suddenly find yourself completely avoiding the dramatic traps that snare everyone else. You will carry a quiet, unshakable confidence into your boardroom, your classroom, and your living room, because you know your decisions are firmly backed by the Creator of the universe. There is absolute, ironclad safety found in blindly following the gentle counsel of the Holy Spirit. Trade your exhausting hustle for my holy wisdom today. Let me directly guide your feet, and I will lead you to a rich, abundant life that money could never, ever buy. Listen very carefully to the words coming out of your own mouth. I am commanding you to recognize the terrifying, literal power that is hiding right behind your teeth. I have placed the actual power of life and death directly on your tongue. When you speak, you are not just making noise, you are actively creating your future reality. You constantly wonder why you feel so incredibly defeated, but I hear what you aggressively whisper to yourself when you look in the mirror. I hear you casually joke about being a failure. I hear you complain that you will always be broke, that your body will always be sick, and that your marriage will never, ever get better. You are literally cursing your own life with your own mouth. You are entirely aligning your daily confessions with the dark lies of the enemy instead of aligning them with my shining, unbreakable promises. I firmly command you to completely stop speaking death over the beautiful life I gave you. Use your powerful words to aggressively build up, not to violently tear down. I see you sitting in the break room at work, quietly listening to the toxic gossip and the bitter complaining, and sometimes you jump right in just to feel included. I am telling you that gossip is a deadly poison that rots your very bones. It completely grieves my Holy Spirit. I am calling you to the beautiful, radical blessing of a quiet, controlled tongue. If you cannot speak life into a situation, I want you to keep your mouth completely shut. When your spouse deeply frustrates you, do not use your words as sharp daggers to deeply wound their insecurities. When your children make a massive mistake, do not use your heavy words to crush their fragile spirits. You are my direct representative on this earth. Your words should sound exactly like my words, full of massive grace, deep truth, and fiercely protective love. Speak blazing light directly into the dark, terrifying places of your life. When you look at an empty bank account, you do not declare poverty. You boldly declare that I am your ultimate provider. When you receive a terrifying medical diagnosis, you do not declare defeat. You loudly declare that by the bloody stripes of my Son, you are completely healed. Your words directly reflect the actual abundance of your heart. If your mouth is constantly full of bitter complaints, it simply proves that your heart is currently completely starved of my presence. I invite you to profoundly change your vocabulary today. Let every single sentence you speak be absolutely saturated with raw hope. Command the heavy mountains in your life to completely move out of your way. Your voice carries my direct authority. Use that massive authority today to completely rewrite the dark narrative of your life, and aggressively watch how quickly your physical reality lines up with your faithful words. Wake up tomorrow morning and actively expect me to show up. I am commanding you to completely shake off the heavy, numbing spirit of apathy that has slowly settled over your daily routine. You have falsely convinced yourself that your life is just a boring, endless cycle of waking up, sitting in frustrating traffic, paying expensive bills, and going to sleep exhausted. You have entirely stopped looking for my miracles because you think miracles only happened in ancient history. I am telling you today that I am the exact same God, and I am actively pouring out my magnificent glory right now, right in the middle of your totally ordinary, messy days. I want you to start actively preparing your heart for the massive suddenly moments of divine favor. You can go completely unnoticed for 10 straight years, and then, in one single, breathtaking moment of my sudden favor, your entire life trajectory is completely changed forever. Walk through your house, your grocery store, and your office in a posture of intense, daily expectation. I am fiercely working behind the scenes of your life, setting up divine appointments that you cannot even begin to imagine. I want you to witness my massive power manifested in the incredibly small things. Notice the profound peace that completely guards your mind when you should be having a massive panic attack. Notice the unexpected check that suddenly arrives in the mail exactly when your electric bill is due. Notice the perfect stranger who offers you a desperately needed word of deep encouragement exactly when you are ready to completely give up. Those are not random, lucky coincidences. That is my heavy, intentional hand actively intervening in your personal story. I am entirely involved in the tiny details of your day because I passionately care about everything that concerns you. Be a wide open, completely willing vessel for the massive outpouring of my spirit. When you start deeply expecting my goodness, a radiant, undeniable light begins to shine out of your very pores. Other people will look at you and clearly see that you carry something entirely different. They will violently crave the deep, settled peace that you walk in. And when the massive breakthrough finally comes, when the heavy sickness leaves, when the impossible debt is entirely canceled, when the prodigal child finally walks back through the front door, I strictly command you to give me all of the loud, public glory. Do not you dare brush it off as your own hard work or good luck. You point your finger straight up to heaven, and you loudly tell everyone exactly what your Father did for you. Live your daily life completely wide-eyed. Expect my fierce goodness. Look eagerly for my deep mercy, and absolutely prepare to be completely amazed by what I am about to do next. Take one final, deep breath with me right now. As this holy interruption comes to a close, I want to completely seal this divine conversation deep inside your weary heart. You have listened to my voice. You have felt the heavy, warm weight of my presence completely wrap around your tired shoulders. I want you to firmly carry this exact feeling with you when you walk back out into the loud, chaotic world. Here is my final, ironclad, eternal assurance to you. You will absolutely never, ever walk alone. I do not care how entirely isolated you feel when you are sitting in that cold doctor's office, when you are driving alone in the dark, or when you are staring at the ceiling in an empty, silent house. I am right there sitting next to you. I am completely woven into the very fabric of your actual life. I will never abandon you. I will never turn my back on you in disgust, and I will absolutely never drop you when you stumble. I am completely, fiercely committed to finishing the beautiful work I personally started inside of you. You look at your life and you only see an unfinished, messy construction zone. You see the massive flaws, the half-finished projects, and the deep, ugly mistakes. But I am the master builder. I am the author and the perfect finisher of your fragile faith. I do not ever walk away from a project until it is absolutely, breathtakingly perfect. This specific freeze moment you just experienced was not just a temporary emotional high. It has completely changed your eternal trajectory. You have successfully paused. You have completely realigned your heavy heart with my beating heart. Now, you are going to walk forward with a totally different, highly powerful cadence. The enemy is absolutely terrified of the completely renewed, fully awakened warrior that is about to step out of this quiet room. I warmly invite you to deeply dwell in my house forevermore. Everything you are violently striving for on this temporary earth will eventually turn to completely worthless dust. But the deep relationship we are actively building right now will last for 10 trillion years. Keep your tired eyes firmly fixed on the eternal hope of heaven. The absolute worst thing that happens to you on this broken earth is just the very beginning of a glorious, painless eternity with me. Receive my massive, final blessing today. I personally bless you with a peace that will completely confuse your enemies. I bless you with a raw, supernatural strength that will effortlessly carry you through your darkest, heaviest days. I bless you with a profound, unshakable divine purpose that will make you completely unstoppable. You are entirely seen. You are fiercely known. You are absolutely unconditionally loved. Now lift your head high, my precious child. Go out and live like you actually believe it. I have just permanently sealed my eternal promise that you will never walk alone. But there are millions of broken people weeping right now who truly believe I have completely abandoned them. I am explicitly asking you to partner with me right this minute to aggressively carry this exact, life-saving conversation to the absolute ends of the earth. Your financial support is the raw, undeniable miracle that takes a few small loaves and violently multiplies them to feed a starving, desperate generation with the bread of life. I speak this living, powerful truth directly over your wallet today. Honor the Lord with your wealth, and your vats will violently burst open with brand new wine. The enemy is screaming loud lies of isolation, and I urgently need your sacrifice today to broadcast my voice louder than his absolute terror. I promise to completely envelop your household in unshakable favor, firmly rebuking every financial devourer that tries to touch your daily income. I fiercely command you to step into your royal authority and give right now using super thanks, joining as a member, or sending your crucial gift through the PayPal link in the description. Amen.